What?
I'm really sorry.
What?
Can you go? Okay, just come on, let's go. Let's start it.
What's up, everybody? I hate you, Kevin. It's the Game Over Greggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer slash seducer, Mr. Shiner Bach himself, Nick Scarpino.
This is either going to be a really fun 2 hours for me or the most frustrating 2 hours for me.
Why?
Only time will tell. I don't know.
What do you think's gonna be frustrating
Last time
about
you
it?
bums got drunk on a podcast.
We're not drunk.
Drinking.
God damn it. That's right.
Even though I wanted to.
The glue, Big Kev Dog, is back.
Ow, ow,
Gonna
ow.
tell us all about his New York trips here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then over there, the pure one at Tim Gettys.
That's him, host.
Now, first off, you did something before we went live. You went, "Oh," and you said you were the fun police. You made a siren noise. And
I said I'm the fun police coming to make sure we're having a good time.
But see, you're actually the opposite, aren't you? You're a fun police coming to arrest people having fun. Because last time we had fun. He's a stripper?
Like one of the cop strippers. They come, you think you're about to get arrested, and then Nick gets naked.
Sure.
And
I'll tell you one thing right now. If Channing Tatum showed up right now in a cop costume and said, I'm the fun police, and then decided to strip for you, you don't think you'd have a good time, sir? I think you're lying to yourself.
I would have a good time.
I think you're lying to yourself if you don't want to look at Channing Tatum naked like I do.
I mean, you're saying there's a few leaps in logic there, but I'm just saying you're the one over there being Granny
YouTube it,
Goodness
right?
last time, sitting there with your those little fucking coin purses old people have with all their fucking coins. They're
Where
like,
it's just like,
I don't
it's
like
2
you
quarters,
drinking the
and I also have a
alcohol.
Werther's original.
Werther's original in there, just in case one of the kids.
But it's unwrapped.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
you're
been in there a few
Nana,
decades.
why is there shit on this Werther? And you eat it anyway because you're a fat kid and you
fucking
fucking
piece of
don't
shit.
give a shit
You're
about your body.
embarrassed of yourself.
You
No
don't
one in your
care.
class likes
You're
you.
just
That's
gonna
what you
eat
gotta
your
do.
way out of that tunnel.
I'm
Hell
so.
yeah, you will. I don't even remember what you're talking about. Nick was being a curmudgeon?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
being a curmudgeon.
You were?
I'm in a
He was taking
curmudgeon.
shots. He was taking shots. Why? We just had an amazing lunch at Red
We had a great lunch.
Robin.
Red
Thoroughly
Robin.
enjoyed the lunch. Food was great.
The
Good
company was on par. The food was good.
Service not so
Service
great.
terrible as always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always, I've
put me
had
in a
some
bad
really
mood.
good experience. Not only
Put me in a
that,
bad mood.
I believe that there's a best friend that like
There's multiple best friends that work
yeah.
at Red Robin.
Here's the question I have. As this being only my second time at a Red Robin ever, first time undisclosed, I don't know, maybe high school, we think. We don't know.
Unincorporated Glen
Do
Ellyn.
they not? Because what I liked about our server was he very much looked like he might not really work there. That he just picked up the little apron thing and put it on because he was just wearing a black polo with a
normally-
visible.
We
light.
recently went through a very weird renovation process.
Very weird.
Where it was like a rebrand.
Yeah.
So I think they're still trying to figure out
Yeah.
exactly what they're
because
doing.
they used to wear the
had a
red
real-
shirts,
They
right?
had a real kitschy feel before, and they would have like a bunch of like the walls were covered in movie props.
It was
and
cool to, like,
posters
look
and
at stuff.
knickknacks and shit.
Yeah.
And now they're like, we gotta.
No, you know
That's
what
how I
mean?
describe
You go
life.
and sit
That's how I
down and you're
describe
like,
life.
Oh, look at all these
Look
cool
at stuff.
posters. Is that a French Star Wars poster? Yeah. it
So
was.
it's literally like the
European
Simpsons
Harry Potter
episode
thing.
with Uncle Mo's family feed bag.
yes, exactly. I mean, I'm sure
Moose
that's what
wearing
it's-
sunglasses? Well, now I've seen everything.
It's just like that.
Okay.
But with bottomless fries.
Fuck
and
that. That is bullshit.
It's not.
It is because they definitely have a bottom when the server drops them off and is gone for 20 minutes.
Well,
He
I mean,
came
that's-
back though and said, "Does anyone need anything?"
and we were like, no, we have to go fucking record a podcast. We're 30 minutes late because this motherfucker walked in and wanted to play a fun little fucking lark. He's having a lark over there for his YouTube channel where he walked in a black fucking goddamn polo, put on an apron, and he's walking around taking Red Robin orders. Remember when I was like, sir, can you help us get service? And he's like,
I don't remember when you did
yeah. Nah, yeah, I'm your server.
Yeah, he was
"Wait,
like,
what?"
yeah, no problem. In fact, I'm your server.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then he didn't come back. And then he came back and he was like, what would you guys like? Or do you want
He's like,
anything?
what do you guys
We're
want
like,
for
yeah,
drinks?
motherfucker.
Unless you're ready to go. I'm like,
Unless
we've been
you're
here
ready to go.
15
Yeah,
minutes.
dude.
Yeah, I figured it out what I want.
Yeah, dude. And then, but the thing I don't like about it is, look, I'm fine with people, and I've been criticized before for being overly harsh of service staff.
You
As we know,
With your, again, coin purse?
I worked in the service industry for a very long time, all throughout college and after college for a very long time. So I know what good service is. And I know the difference between someone who is overworked and then just doesn't give a fuck. And that
He's gotta
guy
give a
today
fuck.
didn't
not
give
give
a
a
fuck.
fuck.
Did you, what'd you tip him? What'd you tip him?
I tipped him like 15%, something like that.
Too high.
Jesus
Too
God.
high. I would've gone
Zero.
five.
I still
Give him
can't.
the goose egg.
I
5%.
can't. I can never bring myself to not tip someone.
I fucking
know
love it.
because I don't know. Maybe the guy's having
Because I'm
just a bad
such,
day.
I'm
had
a
to-
nice
we had
guy.
to
When
do
it
it
gets
yesterday,
that
right?
bad, when it gets that bad, and I got a goose egg you, I'm mad, and this is how I get you.
bad.
It wasn't goose
great.
egg
It
terrible.
That's the
wasn't
thing,
good even.
I give him
but-
$2 and then I write
would've
the
put it at
tip.
5.
Here's a tip. Fucking
The
take
thing
care of your
is, you
tables.
guys were talking about how you had lousy service at the Buffalo
Terrible.
Wild Wings. the
But it
other
was
day.
the same caliber that we
Different
had
group of
today.
people though.
So here's my
Minus
thing,
Nick
though.
and Greg, so no one got aggressive.
That's fair. That's fair.
God, when
what
Greg
I'm
got
saying is,
aggressive
look,
today, it scares me when he
Hey,
just goes aggressive.
I turn on dad voice for a second.
It's not dad voice. It's like scary man voice.
Well, it gets things done, doesn't
Like,
it?
It's authoritative.
It
I
makes me
guess.
think of all the weird stories where you talk about killing people. I'm like, oh fuck, he really has it in him.
Well, don't get me wrong. Right behind,
Right
anytime
there.
I turn on dad voice, right behind it is, please fucking make a move. Like, you know what I mean? I want to
Yeah,
say,
no,
hey,
I
can you
want-
help us get our server? And he tries to swing on me, and I'm like, finally, on the ground, on the ground, alligator
So
wrestling.
what's scary is you can hear that in that voice.
Oh yeah, I want
You
them
know
to know
you're ready.
This man is close to the edge. He's got to go talk about video games and comic books. Somebody get him out of here.
You did have this moment where you were like, you weren't looking at him. What you were doing was you were staring off into no direction in particular. What I feel like you were doing was you were really paying attention to your peripherals.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh, I was looking for
he
any
was behind
server.
you, but it's almost like you were like listening to his footsteps. Like
Yeah.
you were very attenuated to where he was
Sure.
and in proximity to you.
Sure.
So that if he were to pounce on you, which only in your brain would that be an eventuality, because the guy was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm fucking serving food at Red Robin. I don't care.
At 2:30 in the
Yeah, but
afternoon.
I love it because you were literally like, sir, can you help us get some service over here? But you were looking this way. The guy was behind you, and he was like, sure. And
It wasn't
you
that
just,
bad.
it was pretty bad. It was
he was
aggressive.
over here.
It was
was
aggressive
really
to me and
aggressive,
Kevin
yeah.
because we literally just sat down. We were late.
Yeah.
Because we had left 5 minutes after.
When
you
I
guys.
get seated, I want a table touch immediately. I want a table touch. How you guys doing? You're waiting on 3 more? No big deal. Can I get some water started for the table? Great. I'll be right
Who
back.
wants some butter? Does anyone want butter? Just come serve some butter to me. You know
Hey,
what I
these
mean?
fries are endless. You want me to get some going now? 'Cause it seems like that. And then I want him to come out with a reverse leaf blower, but it's blowing fries.
All I'm saying is this: my
You ever start sucking fries?
my
No.
standard for service at a place.
Because that's what a leaf blower blows.
Yeah, a leaf blower blow. So it's
Not.
Sucking up all the fries.
No alcohol
My
in
favorite
them,
thing
yeah.
about this whole thing was Greg does this, and I hear Nick go. Like you made
I didn't know
Nick
if I was.
gasp,
I
like,
didn't know.
audibly.
I didn't know if I had to fucking get his back.
Nick,
bro.
if we took the anger I have for bad service and your jujitsu skills, we'd be ready if anybody popped off.
Well, first
at
off,
us.
you were like twice the size of that guy.
I
I'm
love it.
pretty
That's
sure
why
we
I don't-
did.
I'm not gonna
Second,
fucking
again,
yell at me. I'm not.
We're just gonna clarify. This guy, zero fucks
Yeah.
given. You probably could have pounced on him and beat his face to a fucking pulp, and he would have just been like, whatever. He would have had the same fucking lackadaisical look on his face.
Right,
Pretty sure he was high as a fucking kite. But all I'm saying is, when you go to a place like Buffalo Wild Wings or Red Robin, you don't really expect like stellar service. And he gave us what I thought was the
No.
threshold of you're getting a tip. You're getting a decent
No,
tip.
no, no.
He was
Absolutely
below
not.
the threshold.
When I
He
go to
refilled my
any
Diet Coke
place,
twice. That's all that really matters.
when I go to any place, I expect fantastic service.
This is your job.
And if I get exactly, and if I get it, I will tip more than the 20%. And if I don't, I'll tip less. That's
I agree.
standard rules.
I
yeah.
agree with that. No, I'm with Kevin on this
I also
one.
don't go to Starbucks and tip. I just don't feel like that's.
Oh, my wife
They're not
hates
doing
that.
anything extra.
I, you know me.
I know you, and I hate it.
I can't break rules, and I
That's
don't.
not
I
a
want
rule.
everyone to like me, and so anytime, and they do it every fucking time. You know, you go to a counter, like a checkout counter, you order like a burrito or whatever, and they give you the thing that has the tip. I gotta leave $1 every single time, even if it's like a little tiny shitty taqueria
getting
stand.
robbed.
I know.
You're
My
getting
wife
robbed.
looks at me
There's
every
nothing.
time, and she just goes, "Don't do it." She gives me that. She weighs me off. Don't do it. You don't need to do it. You're taking out the food.
But they remember
They're
your
not
name. I mean,
service.
at Starbucks, they remember your name and stuff, so that's part of
They
it.
do, but then
when you
that's
go to the
also
same,
like-
I never go to the same Starbucks.
There's such a
like, you know.
like the Starbucks in the city have such a high turnover rate that like it's not worth investing in these people anymore.
Investing
like I'm
in
not
them.
gonna know who you are. Like, but the last person that I know at my Starbucks is now going to work for Apple, well, across the street.
Oh, I thought like you was in
I was
the
like,
Apple
oh,
store. Like, damn, that's a
that's
a
cool.
jump. I'm going to
Hook us with a
Cupertino
discount?
from Starbucks.
I mean, you know, you guys are
iPads
just
for
hating.
everyone.
No, I mean I'm sure it's happened before. I'm just saying that's a career change you don't hear that much about.
No,
to
it's
go
not.
from you're in college, you're working at Starbucks, and you go.
In
from
fact,
Starbucks.
when
feel
she
like that's
said, "Hey, I'm
fairly
working
normal.
for Apple," I was like, "Oh my god, congratulations! They have great stock options." And she was like, "No, I'm going to work in the Apple store." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "That is a little bit of
They
a
get
step
decent discounts,
down from
though,
where I thought."
too, so
They do.
if
They
you
get like
want
10
them
to
back,
15%, so that's good.
I think on certain items, the watch when it first came out, they had 50% off. What?
I'm still hung up on reverse leaf blower. I'm sucking fries away from you. I thought
If someone goes to put a fry in their gone.
I thought I had this great
really?
idea.
If it's like
Fry.
attached to your mouth, like if it, got a thing coming out of it, so it's shooting the fries
Why is
in
it
your
coming
mouth.
out of his ass?
Well, it's got
It's
the
his
backpack.
backpack,
It's
yeah.
like the proton
Yeah,
pack
yeah,
kind of
copy
thing. You know
that.
what's happening? If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. How early, Kevin?
You're watching it right now.
You could be
live with
watching
us.
it right now as we record it live on YouTube over there, and then we delete it right away. You can get it, what?
It's just last week you did that to me, and I was like,
I I was really confused when you did that.
You can get the show each and every Friday early on patreon.com/kindafunny as audio or video, or you can wait as we break it out the following weekend, topic by topic, day by day, until
Tim does his on the morning.
We
show,
haven't done
so
the
I was
grunts in a long
How
time.
could you get entered to win? And I was like, 4.
There's
4 ways.
4 ways.
Man, I don't know. I zone out sometimes. We do a lot of shit.
Monday through Thursday until we put it up as one big video and MP3 the following Friday.
One big happy family.
See Tim Allen the other day with the tweet about like, if we
apes-
evolved from apes, so why are there still apes? Or whatever.
Torn apart. Torn apart.
I liked you started explaining to it, and then I clicked on the tweet, and there, sure enough, some kind of.
There were quite a few. I think Max Landis jumped in on that too.
Yeah.
And then there was actually a guy
common
that jumped in
ancestor is
and
what
was
it
like,
is.
"Hey, just because there's dogs doesn't mean there aren't still wolves. Like people, they evolve differently." And I was like, "Oh, it's actually pretty fascinating." But I don't think that's what Tim Allen. What was it like? What was his point in that? Is what I want to know.
God is real. God is great.
He's ready
Yeah.
for Toy Story
Is he
4.
that into it though, or was
Apparently
it
he
just?
likes God. I don't know.
Does he?
I guess.
Because I'd love to be able to call Tim Allen and be like, "Tim Allen, are you fucking with people? Like, are you just having
That's
fun?
another
Are you
good point.
high
Yeah,
and you're just fucking with people?"
Because I looked through, and the rest of his tweets were all about like his shows and stuff.
Yeah.
They weren't like, "Hey, I'm making a stand here."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
You think he was just really high?
Maybe.
Like, yeah, he's gonna fucking get some assholes.
How many times a day do you think he does that to people?
I'm sure he gets it on the street.
Never.
Too many. Like,
Do the thing.
yeah.
It's
It's like when we do it to Andy. When it's like, Andy, do the thing.
Do the yell.
Grito,
Andy, yell.
grito.
That didn't get picked up. That's
No,
big.
yeah,
Just give Andy a mic.
I enjoyed it though. I think it was for us.
Nick,
Yeah.
today we went around the table and we were like, "Oh man, what are our topics going to be?"
Yeah.
Blah, blah, and you rattled off 3 great ones. So we're going to give you 3/4 of the show. Give me the
Okay.
first Nick topic on the
First
Nick Overgreggy
Nick
show.
topic comes from the Kind of Funny morning
Nick
show.
Overgreggy.
Someone was asking us after we watched Game of Thrones what our names would be if we were lords or kings of whatever the fucking land in Game of Thrones is called.
Westeros.
Winterfell.
Right? And I was like, that's interesting because I went off on a tirade and people were talking about what mine would be, but I want to know what y'all's would be.
But hold on, what do you?
So you know when Daenerys is the breaker of
Daenerys
chains.
has a million names.
She's the breaker of change, mother of dragons, fucker of the Dothraki, or what, I don't know. I can't remember what
Yeah.
hers are.
That's it. Yeah. Fucker of the
There's a bunch of
Dothraki.
hers, right? The wearer of blonde hair. So this is where I lost. I was like, okay,
eyebrows on eyebrows.
she just have eyebrows. Maybe zero chemistry with Jon Snow. You know, all
Whoa,
that
that's
stuff.
not true at all.
There's no
You
chemistry.
sound.
Hashtag incest. Let's
Hashtag
go.
whatever.
They don't
It's
know their
Westeros.
cousins. I don't think it counts if they're like nephew and niece.
So I wanted to go around the table and give each of us. I don't want you can't pick your.
So we're
own.
not saying
We
what
have-
ours would be.
We have to give you.
I don't like that.
Your
I wonder
Game of
who's gonna
Thrones
have the shittiest names.
Lord, or Lord name. I'm just randomly thinking. Let's start with Kevin. Kevin.
What do you got, Nick?
Get a Moan Chi-Chi in there somehow.
Oh, I mean that's got to be in there somewhere.
I haven't heard Monchichi in a while.
We were talking about it the other day.
Stainer of shirts.
Stainer of shirts, says Andy. If you got it,
Andy,
come on
you
in.
gotta
Come on
fucking
in here.
show.
Come here, Andy. Get in here.
do this.
Shirts, okay.
Andy, get in here. Get in here. Get him a mic for Christ's sake. Do we have a mic?
No,
That's too much
He's
time.
gonna share with you.
Here you go, Andy.
Okay.
Give me one for Kevin.
Yeah, I think Stainer of shirts is one, either from sweat or just that one time you had cum on.
I was gonna say cum would be the real
One
thing.
time you had cum
Hey,
on.
And
you
now it's
weren't here
also
for the cum shirt,
He was
so
a fan
stop
though
acting.
watching it, and it's happened multiple times.
And like,
but
the
what
pics-
about
Look at that. That's not that bad. There's
What
a little
about-
bit
what
on this
about-
side,
what
but, like,
about-
I
what
have to
about-
lift fully?
what about mildew and stuff? You know what I mean?
You
Smeller
guys,
of
you
mildew.
guys never smell the mildew. I
did.
always
You
talk
did.
about
You've
it.
made me
did.
smell it before.
Have
But
I?
that's
Yeah.
Paul's fault, not Kevin's.
Yeah.
Sure, but it plays into what he is.
No, but it's like.
What am I?
No, it's House
This-
Swallow.
What is
You're
the
this
mildewing?
mosaic of smells and things.
Beyond, we'll talk about New York City. Right. Yeah.
Hey man, if you come up with 3 great topics, you
Drinks
can
a lot
have
of-
the show
he drinks
too.
a lot of milk, even though he shouldn't.
Mouth.
He's the shaker of milk. He
Drink-
could be the
drinker
shaker
of mouth.
Kevin, the drinker of milkshakes.
Oh,
I like that. I
But no,
like that.
let's,
Milkshakes.
what
Consumer
alliteration?
devour.
What alliteration could we do with milkshakes?
Right.
Something with an M.
Milker.
The
Master of
ma-
milkshakes.
Master of milkshakes.
Master
Now
of
we're getting
milkshakes.
it,
But
right?
can we also?
I don't make them though.
Can we also use something to where he's being betrayed by
conquer
them
him.
because they hurt his
Yeah,
body?
that's that. We need to get that
Yeah.
in there.
It's lactose, so there's like a lactoseness, right? He's lactose intolerant. Intolerance of lactose.
You're so mad at this.
Devourer of milkshakes.
Intolerant of lactose.
Kevin had, I think, the best one for himself
Yeah.
that he said earlier.
The fixer of problems, the breaker of things.
Kevin Coelho, the
That is
picture
really
of problems,
good.
the
That is
breaker
really
of things.
good.
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good. And then we also have to end it with he is everything and nothing. No, what do we used to say about Kevin?
Pros and
Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
Everything and nothing.
No, I think Colin
He's
can
alpha
say
and
that.
omega.
Yeah.
He's the alpha. Can we also say something to the extent of Kevin, 100 always 10% too much, or something to that degree? You know what I mean?
That's
That's
more
not
of
a
a
Game of
Matt
Thrones
one.
thing.
They
Yeah.
don't have percentages though.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
have.
They have gold. They have
in
gold.
Westeros.
They have gold.
Yeah.
The gold.
The Iron
But
Bank.
who would Kevin be in this scenario? Like,
Kevin,
what do you think
whose
about
character
the-
would Kevin be in
Yeah.
Game of Thrones?
Like, who can we relate him to in Game of Thrones?
He's that guy who always was with Jon Snow.
Oh,
Samwell?
Yeah.
He is the Sam.
I mean, that's an easy one. That's the
Yeah.
most slam
No,
dunk
but I feel
about
like,
it.
no, I
Yeah,
don't think so because I feel like
yeah.
Kevin could fight. I feel like
So can
Sam's
this guy.
Samuel can't fight.
Yeah, he stabbed him with the glass.
No, he can't
Sam's a
fight though.
bitch.
Like he famously can't fight.
He
Like
got beat up.
bitch.
he got the
Fine, though.
shit beat out of
He killed
him
the White
multiple
Walker.
times. Yeah, by pure accident.
Kevin would work in the library thing, the Maester place.
I don't know about that.
Do I look like a librarian to you?
I feel like Kevin
You look
would
a lot
be-
like Sam.
You watch weird ass YouTube podcasts.
That's what I'm
all the
saying.
time.
You know,
Yeah.
you're a
About
knower of
random ass
things.
shit.
He's
Yeah,
a knower
well,
of
like
things.
so is the like the the drunk red priest guy knows a bunch of shit.
Drunk
And he-
red priest.
That one eye patch man. One-eyed
Oh,
Willie.
Well, the guy that kept bringing him back.
Thoros.
One-eyed Willie's
Thoros
friend.
of Mir.
Yeah,
Thoros,
that's
yeah.
it. Thoros of Mir. I don't know.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound right.
it is.
Ah, I believe you.
And with the Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, that's it. That is correct.
That's
Yeah.
the other guy.
See, I mean, there's not gonna be a character that perfectly sums you up.
No, I know. And I'm saying I'm closer to him, I think, than because he's got a base of knowledge.
feel like you're
I like
close-
getting drunk.
I feel like you're really close
It's
to
just a no.
the tall blonde girl. You know, where you're very
Daenerys.
loyal.
I like
Brianna
that. No,
Tarth.
Brianna
Brianna
Tarth.
Tarth.
Yeah,
You're very
I like that a
loyal.
lot. I'm really happy about
I feel
that.
like you can handle your shit.
Even well, see, even
And
then, with all due
you
respect, I think
follow
you're more a
redheads around.
Podrick.
What?
He's more Podrick.
Which one?
Hey, I'm good with that
okay.
too. You got that good dick.
Podrick does have
That
that good
good-
dick.
That good
Kevin
dick.
is
He's got a
very
big
Podrick-like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because you get it done as well, but it's funny when you do things too.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I like Podrick. I'll take that.
All right.
But,
Yeah.
but how do we adjust like the rudeness at times that Kevin has?
Well, I mean, it's just when Podrick gets older, he's gonna mature. Dude, he'll get there. Don't worry about it.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for
because
having me on,
like
guys.
the Hound.
I'm down for the Hound
rudeness
too,
Of the Hound.
Yeah.
and the fighting.
Yeah, all right. Whoa, look, you guys got you. You got him.
Touch him. Touch him.
See, that's the thing is there's so many different things of like you can see through Kevin in the lens of Game of Thrones, so many different characters. All the ones you just listed. Then the one who fucking tortured Theon Greyjoy. I can see that as
Sure.
well
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Ramsey.
Ramsey, you
Kevin's
got
got a
some
lot of
Ramsey in
Ramsey.
you.
A little
That
bit.
is
Not like a
fucked up.
'Cause
crazy.
he tortures
amount.
you all the time.
He does.
Touch
He
him real
does.
quick, Kevin.
No.
Touch him.
Touch him again, Kev.
Kevin,
Stop.
touch him.
I'm not gonna.
Ask him his name and then touch him if he gets
Tim.
it wrong.
I'm not gonna.
What?
I'm not gonna.
Ask him what his name is.
Tim, what's your name?
It's Reek. Poke him real hard.
That was really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, I watched
I'm
it.
not
I did
Theon.
watch it a little bit.
No,
you're not Theon.
it was
Well, in
the
this
context
through
of
this
the
lens.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Tim.
I think it's easy who I am.
You're definitely Littlefinger.
Littlefinger,
for sure,
yeah.
100%.
Thank you,
You even
everybody.
have the skeezy little, like if you just
But
shaved
no,
here,
no,
you
no,
have that
no, no, no.
skeezy
I
little
disagree. I
mustache
think
that he
you're
has.
Varys.
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 Yeah.
You're Varys.
Give me a
'cause
Varys and Littlefinger.
That's
Mix
true.
those
For
two
a
together.
while, you
Littlefinger's-
I'm in.
did not want to have sex with people, so you are kind of Varys.
Yeah, no dick and balls.
Yeah,
you
you
can't
have
do that.
zero
Yeah.
dick. We've already established that. Greg got baby
Littlefinger's-
dick. You've got zero dick. But you like the scheme, and that's fun. So Tim would be schemer of schemes, dreamer of dreams.
So dumb.
Nah, it's just Willy Wonka. Now we're just saying Willy Wonka things. You're just repurposing Willy Wonka lines.
Because the Varys with the Master of Whispers. I feel like I'm the Master of Whispers.
You're the master of gossip.
Well, that's what.
And rumors.
That's the
Yeah,
Game of Thrones
that's literally
version
what
of
he's talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying
Tim Gettys
to
is the listener of
get into
gossip.
it.
Listener.
Listener of gossip.
Listener of gossip.
Because you don't spread it too much.
Did
but
we-
You're always excited
I
to
wanna
hear
know.
it.
I need
yeah.
to know.
Did we ever name your car? Does your car have a name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine,
I feel like that's got to be played into because that's such a side character.
Blue.
to you.
Rider of Jasmine?
Yeah,
Oh,
I like that.
Like the way he thinks. That was good.
How do you involve G in it?
Rider of Gia. You just put a comma. Rider of Gia.
Rider of Jasmine, comma Gia.
Rider of
Just ride
Gia.
things.
Yeah.
He's just the
Breaker
rider?
of
Yeah.
I
chains.
drink and I ride things.
What change?
Drinker of LaCroix.
Yeah, we got
Drinker of LaCroix. That's another
You're
good
a
one,
drinker
yeah.
in general, though. We've covered this. Not the alcohol problem, the drinking problem.
Yeah.
Where he like wearer
I don't
of
think there's a
Jordans.
problem with it. If you keep
Yeah.
like
He
keeping
just
your
says he
body
drinks too
hydrated, I
much.
think that's totally fine.
But he doesn't.
I think it's just more than most people.
I guess.
be the rider of walls?
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Did
Greg.
you say it to
The
your mic?
wall.
Right in your mic. Cool, Greg. Say it in your microphone. There you go.
Why is he so scared?
Can I be the writer of walls?
Yep.
Yeah,
Rider
writer
of the
Greg,
wall.
Yeah.
the writer of the wall.
Writer of the walls. What we wanna
Yeah,
say?
because this is the one wall.
You see that funny? You see that funny?
I think he liked it.
You see that funny image the other day of it was basically an option to fast travel to the wall because that's all anybody does anymore on the show.
Yeah, it's great.
This season has been so
All right.
good. Thank God for
Now
all
hold on.
fast
Here's the
traveling.
thing. Here's what I do. I don't think we're spoiling this season. Correct. We're not going to do spoilers in this.
No. shouldn't.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we make it clear to the viewer/listeners we wade into this. Where do you guys, as huge Game of Thrones fans, come down on the fact that people are saying like this is bad fan fiction? So I've seen that so many critics and people tweeting.
Oh, I've ignored those people from the beginning. Like in what the
just
first,
this season. They're saying
no,
this season so
but
bad.
they've been saying
No,
that
they've
they
been
said that
complaining
for the
since-
fourth season.
Yeah, ever since it's
it
past
went
the
off
books,
book. Yeah,
people are babies.
Are like, oh, this is never how it would happen. And then there's episodes where big like moments happen, like Hodor, where people are just like, well, can't say shit to that. That was fucking amazing. That was beautiful. What a build, you know.
Okay.
So
So you're just not even listening.
hell
to
with
these
those
people.
kids,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Dumb.
I had a dream a couple nights ago that I was hanging out with George Railroad Martin. Ran into him. I was like, you should come on the show. He's like, all right. And we just bummed around. We didn't like talk about game, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, I talked about his hat. I think I like his little hat.
little
He's always
conductor
wearing
hat.
suspenders. Yeah.
The railroad
The railroad, exactly.
conductor.
All right, so
What's me?
we
Do
lost
me.
Nick.
Do me, Nick.
All right, Greg Miller,
Greg Miller.
eater of wings,
Oh, easy.
kisser of French. You know what
Sure.
I'm
Okay.
talking about?
That's good. Like French
Okay.
kiss, but I
Okay.
also okay.
Wearer of glasses.
Okay.
Psychotic.
Full stop. Psychotic. Okay.
Father of Wiener.
Father of
Father
Wiener.
of
I like
Wiener.
that. Father of
Good,
Wiener.
yeah. I want to incorporate Superman. Heart of Superman, maybe?
Lover of Superman.
Son
You
of
know?
Jorah.
Because he
Lover of
loves
Superman.
He loves Superman.
It's
but
true,
also,
but,
like,
like-
I feel like a lot of his values come from Superman's values.
Well,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true. Sure.
Right.
Maybe don't go so on the nose with it. Do something with Krypton.
Yeah, I'm not that smart though.
Okay. House of Bell.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, that's an easy one. House of L. Yeah, fuck, should have thought about that.
Also, I think in this world of yours,
Yeah.
who am I then? What games? What Game of Thrones character?
would be
Because I like to think of myself as Spock.
Spock.
Yeah. You know how
Dr. Spock.
You know how these people like the Trekkies will show up at Renaissance
Yeah,
fairs?
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that's me in this world.
I've always wanted to do
Out
that.
of place, out of time, just chilling out.
I feel like
You
Greg,
think I'm a Hodor?
No, I think Greg would have been one of those characters from House Tyrell that got killed in like the second season or the first season.
House Tyrell.
Which remember like Marjorie's house? Didn't they all get decimated?
We, as far as I know, we only
No.
ever saw her
Yeah.
grandma.
It was your brother?
Oh, and
Yeah,
her
well,
brother.
they all get blown up in the set.
Prince of Thorns.
No, flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah.
Close.
Who
There's
does
thorns on
Greg
some
most
flowers.
resemble?
Like physically?
I think Kevin fits all these bills. Like Kevin could also be the dude
Marjorie.
who is the pirate, the ex-pirate guy who hung out with
yeah.
Stannis for a while, but now is hanging out with Jon
Oh, I
Snow.
love that guy.
He could be Sir Davos.
Which one's Sir Davos? Oh, you couldn't. No, he's not suave enough.
I don't know
for
which
Sir
one's
Davos.
who's Sir Davos.
Sir
No,
Davos.
Sir Davos is the guy you're talking about.
Greg's more like
The Onion
Pirate.
Knight.
Yeah,
Onion
the
Knight.
I'm the guy who
Pirate
can't
Onions.
read?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In little fucking
give him
lizard
that
girl
one.
teaching me to read?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
just a good dude. He's always like helping out people.
So
Sure.
good,
He doesn't
yeah.
seem like he wants to be there either. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely
He's
doesn't.
still there though.
God,
Yeah.
he misses his son.
Whatever. Overrated.
whatever.
You know what I
Kids?
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, well.
You got the specs on your face again. From your bike helmet, I think. There you go.
Is that what
I
it
put it
is,
right
you
back.
think? I don't care.
I don't know.
It doesn't
Either that or
matter.
well,
It's
it's
a
just back on
stylish
your
thing.
face, so it's whatever.
I showered thoroughly this
All right,
morning.
what's Nick's? First off, who is he from?
I'm
in Game of
trying to
Thrones?
think.
He reminds me of the guy who
One of the
died.
Lannisters.
Oberyn.
Yeah, thank you, Oberyn. That's what
Oh,
I'm
I'll
looking
take
for.
Oberyn.
No,
Yeah?
he like
Oberon.
Oberyn's too cool.
You're really cool, Nick. You're really fucking cool, but you're not Oberyn
Yeah.
cool. But to be fair,
is
very
so
few
good
people
looking.
are.
Ooh, he's that guy
but
who.
Troy Baker is Oberyn cool.
Troy Baker
That's a
is
great point.
My
That's
wife
a great
just
point.
started watching Narcos, and he's in that. He's one
Troy
of the main
Baker's in
characters.
Narcos?
No, Troy Baker's not in Narcos. The guy who plays Oberyn is in Narcos, and every episode she lets out an audible sigh when he comes on.
Yeah.
Just like a oh. Like, let me get a piece of them jeans.
You know who Nick reminds me of?
Yeah.
In every way possible.
Yeah.
There is no debate in this the more I think of it. The guy who's like Jamie Lannister's bodyguard nowadays.
Fair.
Who saved him from the fire,
that's
knocked him into the water.
I'll
Yeah.
take
That's
that.
really
I'll
good.
take Braun.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Braun
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
Braun,
and remember,
really.
Braun was all creepy with the girls too, the
Yeah.
Oberon girls when they were locked up in the cells
He
and
wasn't
whatnot.
wasn't creepy. He was just,
flirting
like,
with
flirting
them,
with
and
them,
it just
yeah.
didn't go
Well, I mean, he was doing
okay?
he was doing the
No,
kind of
one of them was
flirting
like,
that Nick does that we call creepy. Yeah.
I'm into that.
Listen.
Can you believe?
Listen.
Well, I guess we shouldn't spoil it.
So follow it up. You're
Back it
spinning
up.
your wheels.
Back it up,
What do you
son.
got to stop?
Put it in park. Put the fucking e-brake on, okay, son?
I'm gonna
Those
throw
girls
this out
just
there.
didn't know. They were not used to Braun's
One
majesty.
of them was totally in on
She
it.
was
Like,
showing
she
her
was
boobies.
fucking yeah. She was
showing her
ready.
boobies, yeah.
Well, she was trying to get out, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
matter.
just trying to get out.
Doesn't matter. They had a thing. I like Braun a lot, and that's why I
I
like
like Braun a lot,
Braun's
too.
best. Braun's a G. I hope
But
he
I'm gonna throw
wins.
this out there for you, Nick.
Yeah.
And I know that you're gonna be immediately insulted.
Okay.
And I do not mean it for the reason that you would think.
Okay.
Or the viewers at home might think. I
Okay.
mean it for the character.
Fair.
Tyrion Lannister.
Because you're short.
It's
I'll
not that
take
you're short.
Tyrion, though.
I
I'll
know.
take Tyrion. He's a fascinating, charming little
it's
man.
the charm. Everything he says,
Very
he has this
charming.
thing about it,
Right.
just like you.
Right.
That's a good point. That's another
hair.
great point. That's another
Tyrion
good.
Lannister,
What about
great
names
hair.
now for Nick? We got to put something in here. I like Roller of Men
Master of
because he
baiting.
rolls around with
I
the
like
men.
that. I'll take
You
that.
know?
Roller
Yeah.
of man.
I
Say
will take the
Master
mas-
of Baby.
I will
Baiting.
Take,
Oh,
I will
baiting.
take the
Master of
baiting.
Okay.
It's both of you. Yeah. What else? Give me it. Let
He's got a
go.
good
Let
beard.
her.
The Papa
Grower of hair.
No.
Eater of protein. That's what some people had for me the
Eater
other
of
day.
protein's great.
Creeper of coworkers.
Creeper of coworkers.
Creeper
says
of
Andy.
coworkers.
Coworkers. Andy, that was
Come on,
great.
Andy. Come back
You
in
do me a
here.
favor and just take your pants off. Just take your pants off right now, sir. And nice gray jeans you're wearing today. I appreciate that. It's a gray jean day today. I got the memo. No one else did.
This might be the worst topic we've ever
This
done.
is a terrible topic. Yeah, it's super low energy.
I think it's we're losing it a little bit, but I enjoyed it.
I've had fun.
Yeah.
Have we not had fun?
Yeah.
No, we're having fun.
Do we need to restart the show?
No.
Okay.
I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Yeah, this is just not very compelling.
That's something that Nick says.
No.
Spade, he's the spade of spades.
He's the ace.
I
of
do say
spades.
the spade of spades.
Oh,
I
the
do say
flip of
spade spades.
floppers.
The flip of floppers!
Yeah.
Brought it around.
Still
Brought
there.
it around
It's
at the
still
end
there.
there.
I don't-
Yeah.
Here's
Actually,
the
see if
deal.
there's a couple more names we can get.
Dare all you motherfuckers for taking part in this stupid ass whiteboard. I gave Greg shit for this.
And
the
then
other
we
day.
left it here for
But I didn't
literally 2 weeks now.
Give the rest of you guys
I
shit.
mean, the
for
whiteboard's
this.
always got to be ready to go for whatever. I mean, there he is. The problems with Nick Scarpino. He's a flip flopper.
2 just says carbs.
Yeah, you don't eat carbs.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
but
a don't eat
it's
car-
not,
it just says carbs
It's
in
not
general.
just that you don't eat carbs. It's
Fair.
every time we go to a restaurant that fucks shit up. Where it's like you don't want to go to this one because they don't have anything good
No,
for
not
you.
true. Not true at all. I just modify that, and then whatever dillweed server we have fucks it up. Like
Yeah,
you did
and then
today.
there's another thing.
What
The
did he fuck up today?
modifications.
I was like, can I get it with
Modifications.
some avocado on it? The guy's like, no problem.
Modifier of meals.
Yeah.
Modifier
Yeah.
of meals. Says Andy off camera.
What's the third one down there?
You're
Andy, I
slowing
can't
down
see
the
it.
comic show. 'Cause
Slowing down the comic show.
Yeah.
We spent
It
so much
was
time
happening right
talking
then.
about you during the comic show.
Got
that day.
it. Got it. That's
Yeah.
So really, it
that's
was
my
great.
fault.
It was a great
Yes. Okay.
How's it my fault?
You slowed
'Cause
it
you were the
down.
one that brought up
You
Nick.
were like, whiteboard, give me a marker.
I mean, like
let's
that's,
talk about Nick.
That's neither here nor there. You got to go where the show goes, like we're doing.
You do
here.
have to go with the
Yeah, but
creativity
when you're
takes you.
steering the ship, I think that might be on you.
I'm just saying. I think I wasn't even the one who brought it up. If memory serves, it was that
Memory
Andy
serves
screamed from
incorrectly.
off camera. He was a flip flopper.
He is a flip-flopper.
He said the
It's a
problem
fact.
with Nick Scarpino is he's a flip flopper.
Yep.
Now, the thing
and I
about
said
that
that's
is-
just one of the. You know what? Whiteboard. The whiteboard came out, and there we went.
What's the thing about that?
I love wearing flip flops, so I'll take that. I am a flip flopper. You know,
Yeah.
from SoCal,
Yeah.
when you're born in Southern California, a place
awesome
that
to
has
hear you
perfect
admit it.
weather. You got to put on flip flops every once in a while. There it is.
Like, you know what? Tennis shoes are way better. I hate flip flops.
First off,
I
if
know,
you
we're
know
going
me,
too hard,
Andy,
guys.
if
Back
you
up,
know
back
me,
up.
Andy, you know that I love flip flops overall. I would wear flip flops with jeans every day of the week. And every time I do it, I take a picture of my feet in the jeans and I send them to Alexis because she fucking hates it. And
so
she gives
bad.
me the throwing up emoji, and I like, yeah, you take it.
Have you flip flop yet on your opinion about The Departed?
The Departed, no, I will never flip flop on my opinion of The Departed.
What a bad place to put a stance.
And it's
Man.
that you don't like that movie.
I don't like The Departed. I did not find The Departed.
What's your number one problem with the movie?
If memory serves me correctly, is that Alec Baldwin was sweating all the time and just pushing people around.
That's what I was everywhere.
Kept bumping into shit. The thing is this: I every once in a while, and I was talking to Andy in the car ride over, and he was like, Nick, you have such good opinions on so many things.
Sure.
But it's the rotten egg. It's the one little rotten opinion you have. That one time you fuck up, that ruins everything else.
Yeah.
And it's true. Look, I will
Did you
take
say
credit.
that? All right, yeah, I think so.
I'm paraphrasing, but I'm saying it a lot smarter than you
Seems
did.
like you're
'cause you were just
changing
like
it
this.
completely. Yeah, where I was like, you have awful taste in movies,
Right.
and I don't respect it at all.
Same thing.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Same
It's
thing.
completely the opposite of what you're saying.
So it's pretty much exactly. So it's pretty much
Every once in a while, in a
One
dozen
movie.
rotten eggs, there's a good egg. But it's 61 half done to the other. The other if you reverse it.
I've heard it both ways. I've heard it both ways. The thing about
He flipped it. He flip-flopped the analogy.
The thing about The Departed is that it's not a good movie. It's not a
No,
good Scorsese
it is a good movie.
It
It's
is
an amazing
outlandishly, tonally, just completely ridiculous. And
Like
everyone's
every
"This is
other
a good-"
gangster movie.
No, it's not. If you watch,
Every
if you
other
go back and
gangster
watch
movie is
Casino,
ridiculous.
you go back and watch
Are you telling
Goodfellas,
me
they're not outlandish. They're really intense movies. And then all of a sudden, like The Departed starts off intense, and then you get to Alec Baldwin, who is just comedy folly and sweating
So
and
good.
bumping into things.
I don't even remember Alec Baldwin in this movie. This is what I
was
said.
really
So like
good.
I was off the grid when this happened on the Kind of Funny morning show. I saw the headline "Nick fights everyone."
Yeah.
I saw it was that everybody came in from the other room. Like it was like apparently on this morning show like fucking Monday Night Raw when the ref gets knocked out and all these wrestlers run out from backstage.
First off, I didn't know that everyone loved The Departed that much.
Everyone
which
in the
makes
whole
me
world loves
think
The
that
Departed.
everyone's wrong.
Here's my thing.
Everyone's super
and I said
wrong.
this on the morning show today. I remember and I think fondly of The Departed. I liked The Departed when I saw The Departed, but literally the only thing I remember from The Departed is when Marky Mark shoots and I've already Matt Damon at the end of it.
Which was don't even get me started on the ending. But it's just like you have these you have these amazingly intense scenes with like Leonardo DiCaprio and Vera Farmiga, right? And they have this fucking awesome relationship and all this intensity, and then you take Leonardo DiCaprio's character and like then you juxtapose that with Mark Wahlberg just talking shit to everyone the entire time
But I mean,
for no reason.
That was
And then
on
you have Alec
purpose, Nick. That was
No, it was, but
comparing
this-
like
look, it's
how
the same-
normal this all is to them.
No, it's not. It was just
Yeah.
to me. It was just completely and totally out. Like it just came out of left
No, but you
field.
get what I'm saying? Like these people, their whole lives is looking at these terrible, horrible, heinous crimes, and they fuck
then you-
around
but-
and joke
I don't
the
know.
whole
I
time
thought it
because
was-
they're trying to normalize things.
I thought that they had a good
Right?
line of tone. I was like, okay, this is really getting intense. And then there would be some outlandish thing that happens. I'm like, well, that's slapsticky. It's like watching that movie when everyone was all up on that movie with Bradley Cooper and Louis C.K. and
American Hustle.
Yeah, everyone's like, this movie's great. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like there are moments in that movie where I'm like, that scene should have just been completely cut out because it was such terrible improv that it just didn't make any fucking sense. It was slapsticky. It was stupid. It was like there's a whole shit with like Louis C.K. getting made fun of the entire time during that movie. And I'm like, why is this scene in here? This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, long story short, Departed, not my favorite Scorsese film.
Well.
I was disappointed that he got. That it got the Academy Award for that and not Wolf of Wall Street was the main point that I was making because Wolf of Wall Street, in my opinion, is a fucking perfect example of a Scorsese film.
So but do you think that's going to change when the new Scorsese produced film Joker comes out?
Is he producing that film?
That is the rumor.
That is not the rumor.
That is the rumor.
It is the rumor.
There's no fucking
So
way.
With the guy from Hangover, Todd Phillips directing. Yeah.
Todd Phillips is a great. I mean, that's not going to change my opinion of The Departed.
I meant that the wrong one won the Oscar or whatever. Got nominated.
Oh, you mean that you think the Joker film's going to
I'm
be
just-
so good that no, I don't think that.
Okay.
First off, I don't think they should make a standalone Joker film. I don't like any sort of origin story for the Joker. We've talked about this before.
Sure.
Secondly, they're going to run into the same problem they ran into with Harley Quinn, which is that inherently the character is a bad guy. So how the fuck do you make that care? How do you care about a bad guy? Like you have to make that every story that's worth a shit. That's a hero's tale has to have redemption at the end of it. How the fuck do you redeem Harley Quinn, who is supposed to be one of the ultimate bad guys? You can't do it. That's why Suicide Squad failed. That is why you fail. Yoda, circa 1986.
Nick, what's your second topic?
Second topic is name one person in your life who radically changed the course of your life.
Gotcha.
Give it to me.
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
Do you have one? You have one
I
person.
have
in your
a
name?
person who radically changed the course of my life.
Okay.
I was in college.
Okay.
This is I think I must have been want to say a sophomore in college at the time, and I was trying to become a computer science major. Because that's what I thought everyone wanted. Like that was back in the day when everyone was like, "Hey, if you're a computer science major, you're guaranteed a job." Of course, when I graduated, it was like the economy kind of crashed and the bubble burst, and everyone's like, "Fuck, don't do that. Study medicine instead." But anyway, long story short is I wanted to be a computer science major because I thought that's what you do when you go to UC Irvine, which has one of the top computer science programs in the nation.
Go banana slugs.
That's right, exactly. Banana slugs, also known as
Is
the
it
aardvarks.
Santa
Thank
Cruz,
you.
right?
No, Santa Cruz is banana
Yeah,
slugs.
all right, cool.
Or anteaters, but I call them aardvarks just to piss people off. And I was super unhappy, and I was fighting to get into this program. And I remember there was a course called ICS 21 that was a Weeder course. It's a course that you're supposed to like it's basically designed for people like me who
Got
like
it, are
I'm a
on the
fair weather
fence.
fan
Yeah,
of
yeah.
computer science, and this course is either going to tell me, hey, this career is for you, or
Leave.
Nope.
leave,
Run
Get out
away.
right now.
And I remember it took me a year to get into this. I had to call like early in the morning every quarter, and like they only took I think like 100 people into the class. And finally I got it, and I was super excited. I'm like, I'm going to embark on my career as a computer engineer. What the fuck I'm going to do? Mind you, I'd gotten
Did you have any interest in this, or was it just money and
Zero.
security?
Money and security. Money
Did
and
you
security.
know at the time that like I
I
don't,
did not know at the time. I just knew that I was unhappy, but I was pursuing it regardless.
you just blame Matt?
No, I didn't make Matt because Matt was a theater major. He was getting his master's at the time at Cal State Fullerton for
Banana slugs.
theaters. Exactly, Cal State Fullerton banana slugs.
You hung out with the banana slugs this weekend.
I
Right?
did see banana slug. I'm
They're
a
ugly
huge
as fuck.
motherfucker. Yeah, gross.
They look like giant things of snot.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
really gross. So I finally got into this class, and I remember thinking like, wow, I'm drowning in this. This is already way above my head. I can't. There's no way I'm going to exist in this. And I don't know what in my world made me think that I could be a computer science major. I had gotten straight C's all throughout high school and college for math. Took physics. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So naturally, I was like, sure, C++ programming. That's going to come naturally. Boolean algebra. Why not? Right? Statistics. Sure. That makes sense. Even though I'm not lying. At some points, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I'll say it anyway. I cheated. I straight cheated to get through math classes because it didn't click with me. And so I remember
Didn't
taking
add up.
this first lab. What'd you say?
I said didn't.
Oh,
add
it just
up.
didn't add up. No, it did not. Thank you for that bad pun. And I was sitting in this lab, and I'm like, oh my god, like all these things that I tried to do for the last year. And I remember that the lab was to make Pac-Man. Like they were like make Pac-Man.
We had to make Tron.
I was like,
Did you really?
Did you really?
Yeah, in high school.
In
you
what
do it?
class?
My high school computer science class.
Damn, we didn't have a computer science class.
I mean, this is like, but
Oh,
this
he's
is,
in
that
college.
class. I cheated
I tried
hard.
to. And that was my other thing too. Is I was like, and that was a stark reality where I was looking around and I was like, okay, you know how to act in this situation, right? Make a friend who is smarter than you and get him to help you out with this because that's how you got through all of your algebra, like all of
Shout
your
out to Raymond.
classes.
Shout out to Raymond.
And I remember
Everybody loved him.
looking around in this lab and seeing everyone just glued to their computer screen, and it was like all you could hear was click, 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 and no one was talking, and no one even wanted to talk to each other because they were like cutthroat trying to like succeed in this class because they were going to be the next fucking Bill Gates or whatever. And I just remember I literally looked at my screen, and I think my Pac-Man's jaw was like flapping around. That was it. That's all I could get it to do. And I was like, I just remember thinking,
He's like he's just spiraling in a circle that you can't figure out why.
I mean, I couldn't even make I think all you had to do was make it like eat the thing, and I couldn't even do that, and I had no idea where to start. And the guy wasn't like the professor was like, I'm literally not gonna tell you how to do this.
The whole
If you
point
can-
is toss
the
you
whole
the deep
point
end,
is
yeah.
get in if you can figure like people the cream will rise to the top, and if you can't, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, I think I'm an idiot. Like I think I'm not gonna be able to do this. And so I remember walking out of that and going, oh my god, like my whole like life, this thing that I had,
little plan.
like this plan that I had for myself has just come crumbling down because I can't do it. My mom was like, he's going to be a computer science major. I don't have to worry about it. I got Matt I got to worry about, but Nick I'm never going to have to worry about. And so I spent a little while soul searching, trying to figure out what to do. And I was going to transfer back home to UC Riverside just to kind of figure out what a plan was, like to figure out what my next step was going to be. Because I was like, well, I got shitty grades because of all these fucking classes that I've taken for computer science. So my GPA was like below a 3. And I was like, God, I can't transfer anywhere now because I fucked myself. And I remember walking back to the dorms one day. Maybe it was my car. Yeah, it was dorms. I think it was my freshman year. So I remember
Martin
walking back to the dorms.
Scorsese walks right
Martin
by.
Scorsese goes, kid, you got what it takes. Except don't dislike The Departed when I make it 10 years from now. Now I remember walking back and I looked up and I had seen this before, but I guess like it just registered. Like in my subconscious there was something in my brain that said, hey, there's a film department here somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, because my friend Clay at the time was a like English lit major. and they were like right next to each other in the humanities building. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna pop up there and see. And I like kind of looked up and I saw like the inkling of, I mean, this is all me remembering this. I don't know if this actually happened, but in my brain, I remember seeing like a little corner of like a poster for a movie. And it was probably like, I was like, maybe it's like a French New Wave film. I don't know. So I walked up there and I walked in and I remember the girl's name at the front desk.
What was her name?
Her name was Emily.
Hey, Emily.
She was a TA, right? She was one of like, so she was like kind of my age. And I was like, hey, this is a film department, right? She goes, well, it's a film studies department, but we have, you know, writing courses and some editing courses, but it's not really production oriented. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, how do you become a major?
She's like, make Pac-Man work on this.
Yeah, she's like, here you go, motherfucker. And I'm like, how do you know, can anyone just like be a major? Like, she's like, yeah, we have 90 film majors. Like, we're looking for new people. And I'm like, well, is there anyone I could talk to about the specifics of this? And she goes, yeah, the head of the department's actually here. Let me see if she'll talk to you for a second. And she came back a couple seconds later and goes, yeah, go on back. And I sat down with this woman. And I'll never forget this. I just sat in a room and she was like, what's going on with you? I was like, well, I just quit being a computer science major because I hated it. And she goes, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I like film. She's like, do you want to be a film major? And I said, yeah, I guess I kind of do. Can you do that? And she's like, yeah, why not? It's your life. And I was like, okay, I think I want to be a film major. She goes, cool. And I never saw her again. And I have no idea what her name was because she was the head of the department. And then I went back later to thank her, and she was gone. They're
like, Barbara Bush has been dead for 10 years. He walked in and cobwebs all over.
They had an interim head for like the rest of the time that I was there, and they just kept trading out. And I can't remember what this woman's name was, or else I'd send her an email like, thank you. I probably could. I could probably just be like 2001 head of film department.
But it's cooler if it was a ghost or guardian angel.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm sure I would know her name if I saw it again, but I haven't bothered looking it up. But it's so funny to me because I'm like, I don't know if that person knows that just by sitting down with me for like, it was 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm on the way. I was like 5 o'clock. She's like, I'm on the way out, but I'll hang out with you for a second. Just by doing that, she set me on a completely and radically different course in my life. Because I stayed and I met a bunch of people that I love. Like I hated college up until this point. I had like one friend.
You still don't look fondly back on it.
I don't look fondly back on that. I look fondly back on that day forward in all my film classes because I met a bunch of people that became. I met Ty Root. I met a bunch of people that became like my family at the college, and those classes were awesome. The rest of the school was whatever it was. It wasn't like. It was a commuter school. It wasn't really a party school. It wasn't really like, there wasn't a huge vibe of camaraderie. But I loved those film classes. And like literally the first day I went to, I think it was like Film 101. Film Studies 101, I sat down and I sat right next to this dude that became like my best friend throughout all of college.
Stu.
No, it was my buddy Kyle. Stu didn't go to that school. Stu wasn't all about that UC life, man. Stu took a different route. Anyway, so that story I think about a lot because I'm like, had that person not been there that day, I don't know what would have happened.
You wouldn't be at.
I literally wouldn't because I wouldn't have pursued film. I wouldn't have pursued production. I wouldn't have gotten to IGN, and I wouldn't be here.
You'd just be watching our content and be like, man, I wish I could help them with their computer.
I would be watching you guys' content and be like, I can't believe those fucking idiots get paid to do that.
Share.
How do they run a business?
Common thread around here.
Yeah.
Kevin, who's your person?
I mean, I don't know. This is such a tricky one. I feel like I haven't had like crazy changes in my life that I can like dedicate to someone like my family, I have the crazy moments where like my father passing away really changed I think the course of how my life would have gone.
Is that what you, when you were in school to be a biologist, right?
That was when I was in high school and I was doing terrible. Like I had a 1.3 GPA freshman year.
Yeah,
just because I wasn't doing anything.
Don't listen.
Graduated with a 3.6 though.
Yeah, there you go. That's the real come around.
Well, that's the thing. Like after he passed away, I had to transfer schools to somewhere closer so I could be there to pick up my little brother.
Yeah.
And
for some reason,
I was just like deeply depressed, obviously.
For some reason, I thought you were going to be like, and I wiped all the computers at the new school, so they had no idea who I was. Like that would be.
Let's just say Kevin Coelho isn't my real name.
Just like it's like that thing where Kevin just sends him a package, it's a gigantic fucking magnet, and they put it like on the computer, and it just like wipes out everything. Like we don't know who this guy is.
No.
Wait, so you get closer to the school, and or you start going to school closer to your house. You're depressed.
It was like 2 blocks away. Yeah.
Does that mean you pour yourself into your studies? Or?
Yeah, okay. I just started doing my homework, which until that point. Like I had never done homework, like elementary school, middle school, never. I just thought it was stupid.
Wouldn't do it. It was like the weirdest thing to me because we were just like opposites in that way.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, just do your homework. Like he's always been a smart dude. Like Kevin never made sense to me because he wouldn't do his homework. He'd have a 1.8 whatever, but yet he'd read Popular Science magazine and like he'd read all these fucking like it was before Wikipedia was even really a thing. Like he would go to libraries and shit and get things to read.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense for me though, because I think back to the like. Obviously, like if you're fortunate enough to be someone who found something that you love and you get that, like I was, like I found film and I was like, oh my god, for the first time in my life, I actually like want to read the fucking textbook.
Sure.
And I shit you not when I say this, like my sophomore year in college was the first fucking time in my life where I was like, it clicked. I'm like, oh, I get it. You read the book, the answers are in the book. You memorize the answers and you write them down on the fucking test. Like I had gotten that. Obviously, I did it before, but like this was the first time I wanted to do that. And I was like, oh, I actually want to learn about French New Wave cinema and Italian cinema and all these stupid fucking things. And like get an A on this course.
The difference with Kevin though is it wasn't one thing. It was like he just wanted to know things.
Yeah, I like knowing stuff.
Like trivia is not even the right way to put it. It's more just like you want to be an expert.
I want to understand stuff. It's not even that I want to be an expert in it. I just want to understand how things work.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't like freshman year was by far the worst grades I ever got. Like before I was like an average CB student, and then it wasn't until freshman year where I was like, oh man, I'm gonna dick around. There's such an emphasis put on homework. Yeah. Anything college, like under college, that like that's affected me a lot. But yeah, when I transferred, I just started doing my homework. That's the only thing that changed. I was always a great test taker, so my scores were always really high. So I went from having a 1.7 to having a 4.0, and that all averaged out to like 3.6 or whatever it ended up being. Where like I was taking my SATs and they're like, your GPA is high enough that you don't have to actually do the SATs if you just want to go to San Francisco State. Yeah.
Oh god, I would have loved that.
Yeah. So I
fucking hated the SATs. I hated all that shit. I took them twice.
I actually got a phone call 15 minutes before it started. My friend was like, hey man, where are you? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, the SATs are there. I was like, fuck, I had no idea. All right, I'll be there in a second. Because it was 2 blocks away. It was easy.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah,
oh, God, the SATs. What? Talk about a fucking terrible thing to put kids through. Like, you got to sit in this room for 4 fucking hours and, like, arbitrarily answer multiple choice questions about shit you're never going to remember once you leave that room.
I mean, that sucks for the dumb ones, but the cool ones.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's totally fine for the smart ones, but I just feel like what you're describing is people's major criticism of like just education.
Yeah, education.
You know, where it's like it's just not a catered experience toward people's individual needs.
And that's the problem with why. Like I was the same way with you in high school. Where I remember Post giving me so much. I used to be Post hero or whatever because we'd be walking out of junior year one day, walking in the car, and Post like, "Oh, not bringing a backpack home today." I'm like, I stopped bringing a backpack in sophomore year. The books go in there. I got study hall in the morning. I'll figure it all out.
Yeah,
because I hated high school. And for me, it was getting to Mizzou, and then it was finally like you guys are listening to me, and I know what I'm here for, and you know what I'm here for, and you're laying out a course schedule that I can see where the building blocks lead to me doing what I want to do. Like I'm 100% in on this, and that's why I was straight A's at Mizzou, because it was like, oh, this is fun and good. When it's like I'm stuck in fucking algebra class arguing with Mrs. Kolazinski, I was like, you can fucking go to hell. This is garbage.
I mean, I remember taking physics and being like this the first fucking day of AP physics, because I had all my friends were super smart. And so I was like, oh, I feel like I should try to do this just to fit in.
Yeah.
And I remember taking AP Physics first fucking day, and she started talking, and from that point on, I was confused. Like, there was never a point where I was like, oh, this velocity. No, it didn't fucking matter. I was like, I'm stupid.
French 1 and 2 were like the party class. We were all friends. We were all, the teacher included. Everybody's great, yada, yada. And I remember when I signed up for French 3, she pulled me aside. She's like, you don't want to do this. Like, she's like, it's going to get real.
Like conversational. Like,
yeah, she's like, this is real. This is real French. Do not do this. Like, this isn't what we've been doing. I'm like, I want to try. She's like, all right. And literally halfway through that first week, I was like, I got to get out of here. You all are not on the right level.
Yeah, it's sad because I look back and I took 2 years of Italian because I had to, and you have to take 2 years of language for college. And I remember taking Italian 1 and 2 or whatever the fuck the courses were called. And I just was such a shithead in those classes. Yeah. Like, I feel so bad for my professor. I'll never forget this. Professor Ciampi was his name. And he was such a nice guy.
Ciampi.
And he gave me... he was this like amazing, he was this amazing professor who was like super full of life and fun, and it would like everyone fucking loved him, and myself included. But for whatever fucking reason, I walked into his class every time
with a Chevy sombrero,
15 minutes late.
Oh.
I lit a small fire in my French class.
Dude, I was, fuck, okay. Why not?
So, I mean, I had really good grades, but I also fucked around a lot. Man, like, I would torture substitute teachers so much. And yeah, one time, we had a classroom that had, like, a line of ants. And someone was like, hey, let's spray them with Axe.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And then let's light it and it'll like evaporate right away. It did not. We actually didn't get caught though. The teacher really was awful and
Yeah.
Those
she
hands
like
were dead
came
as
over.
fuck,
Yeah,
though.
no,
You
they were
got 'em.
certainly dead.
Solved that problem.
Yep.
Growing up in San Francisco was a very different experience than even like Kevin, who was in Daly City.
Yeah.
Because
Very
San
different.
Francisco's public schools, there's so many different ones. But once you get into the upper echelon of them, you're just getting a college experience early.
Yeah, you went to like a fame school or like
So
some
Lowell-
weird
one
cool
of the
school for like
two
dancers
schools
and
that-
shit, right?
Lowell and
No.
Soda were the two schools
You have to apply
that
for
you
it.
had to apply for and actually get into. But
Smart
then
kids
they
and the
treated
artsy
you
kids.
like an adult, and we got to choose our classes. I could make my own schedule. Like every semester, it's just like college, where you can go on like ratemyprofessor.com or whatever and do research on what you want your schedule to be
Right.
like. So if you did it right, like you can make it that you have your classes back to back to back. You can get to school at like 7 a.m. and then leave by noon. And then you have the rest of the day off. This is high school. Obviously, I didn't do that. I did the opposite. Get there at like fucking 1 p.m. Like, what up?
Tim shows up at 4 o'clock, like, dude, it's done. We're closed. Dude, I got one class.
I think that it's so important to put that power into kids' hands that early on because it allows them to start thinking about what is it that I want to do? How can I tailor this experience to not be something I don't want to do? Like, it's like, all right, I need to do this class and this class that I have to take 2 years of Spanish. But besides that, I could take a computer science class because that sounded cool to me. I could take a film history class because that is something I wanted to do.
Yeah, see, we did not have that shit in my high school.
I think that like that is really empowering and good for some kids. And I think that there are other kids who aren't responsible enough to handle that and they end up getting kicked out of the school and you know.
Oh, sure. I mean,
Because
look,
the
it's not
schools
a one.
want you to stay. James Burke, he
but
tried his damnedest to get kicked out, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't kick him
We
out.
believe in you, James.
And now he's a teacher.
now he's a teacher.
But I mean, I think that
there's a
gives you
difference there.
perspective.
James is now a teacher at a continuation school, and he kills it because he can relate to the kids.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Like
course.
he has that San Francisco
he really
experience.
cares. I love
He
talking to him
really
about like
cares.
the experiences he goes through.
I feel like, and I understand by the time I have kids and they get to be old enough to where I'm having these conversations with them,
yeah.
maybe I won't have this perspective on it, but I really feel like when I think about when Jen and I have children and I'm going to sit there and talk to these little fucks about it and just be like brass tacks. This is so fucking easy.
Yeah.
Because I think back to, and this is like, sorry, I know we asked you and now we've just hijacked it off. And
No, it's fine.
I feel like it's the trite and dumb answer, but the person Jen's changed my life the most in terms of like overnight, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna have kids and I'm gonna get married, and if you weren't gonna be able to move to San Francisco, I was gonna move to Montreal, and like you're suddenly this thing that I didn't think existed of like you're everything, you are the world, you put everything in perspective in terms of how the rest of my life works. But to the kids thing of, I remember being in same to what you're talking about a little bit to physics of like people saw in me in high school because it was a college prep school, but it wasn't nearly what you're talking about of like, oh, he wants to do all this journalism stuff. He wants to do he needs to be on the honors program English, which just like, and I didn't do freshman year. And then like the next, it was when I had this teacher, Mr. Craver, who was like, no bones about it. Like here, we're doing a quiz every day. So read this many of chapters, and we're gonna do a quiz on this book. And I just wouldn't read it.
Yeah.
I would still do Spark Notes in the morning,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah. Why?
for real.
Yeah.
Like reading's fun, and it's gonna take you 30 minutes.
Is it
Well,
fun?
yeah. Like here, like now's the thing of
don't
like
know, man.
required reading for the comics, right?
Yeah.
Or like whatever. Even if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just you going like, this is an interesting book. I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, like, hey, here, this is an interesting book that you can get.
comics though very different than
Yeah,
like,
But I
they were
mean-
like,
but no,
hey,
no,
you're
no,
gonna read
no,
Starship
no.
Troopers. I'm like, dope. But they were like, you got to read The Invisible Man by Ellison, and I was like, oh fuck, what?
But that's the
fuck
thing is
this
like I'm
shit?
saying like now my perspective is I'm saying a real book. If you were to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
this is
yeah.
a great real book, you should read
Yeah.
it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. And I would,
Kevin's not gonna walk up to you and be like, here's A Tale of Two Cities, right? He's not
Sure.
gonna do that. He's gonna give you a great real book. That's
but I
gonna
mean,
be
I
right
think
up
of the
your
books that
alley.
I like we were supposed
Yeah.
to read. Like I was like, man, I was like, I don't want to read that. And they were fine.
They were, I mean, yeah, you get out of them. And again, that's what I think that's Kevin's point, right? It's like some people can do that catered experience. Some people need to be there, had their hand held a little bit. And I think I was probably, unfortunately, more the latter than the former. Like I was the kid that also needed to be like, people needed to say, hey, you have to do, like, here's your structure.
Yeah.
Here's the book.
Well, I mean,
you gotta read.
but that's to my
And
point
then
of what
I'd
I'm
get something
saying.
out of that and go, oh, cool. I broadened my horizon.
I mean, like I feel like nobody ever shot it to me straight or whatever.
Yeah.
But my fucking kids is gonna be like, hey, high school is so fucking easy. I know it seems so tough. It is not. They tell you to read 2 chapters. Read 2 chapters. You'll be fine. You can DVR everything you want to watch, do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easy to read this and remember what color fucking sweater she was wearing on the boat that they're gonna ask you about in this fucking. Like,
what scarlet letter was she
it's
wearing?
so stupid.
I got you on that. It's on the cover.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like somebody should have just shot it to me that way, and it would be a different story.
I feel like my parents, or at least my mom, was always like, "This shit's easy, just do it." And I was just like, "You are hard ass, and I can't get away with things when you're not here, so I have to take advantage when you are."
Yeah.
Or the other way around, when you are
Sure.
here. Yeah.
Similar to my fry blower.
Sure.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, too,
think it's a fry
kids
sucker.
are in, like, some kids are just inherently fucking lazy, and you don't learn. And I don't know, maybe when I hit film school was when I started learning the sort of merits of a work ethic and hard work. But up until that point, getting me to do anything, getting me to even get a job, I was like, like it would be just like,
But see, that was the thing
I didn't get a job till I was like 20, so.
Jobs, I was so ready to go because I wanted money. I wanted independence. Once I had the ability to do that, I went out and did it right away. And again, it was that thing of like, even though I hate math, it was a simple equation, right? Of you do this to get that. Like,
All about that addition, though. You know what I mean? Counting them bills.
Exactly. Now you're talking. So that was the same thing with high school. It just never added up.
Yeah.
Like, well, I just need to maintain a decent enough fucking grade
To
point
go
average to
wherever
get
you
out of
want,
here and go find a school that I want to go to. Kevin, who changed your life?
Well, I mean, what I was saying was like, not who, but like what. It was my father passing away. I think that really changed the direction because I started doing good in school, and then I was able to go to state without any problem. And then when I got there, some stuff happened with my family that I think I was just like, I'm not gonna go to medical school. I don't want to be a doctor. Just because I can't live in my house for like another fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
Did you want to be a doctor, though? Were you like, hey, I'm going to be fucking, like, you watched ER and you were just jacking off every time Eric LaSalle came on? You're like, yeah, I fucking want to be him. No?
No, I mean, but like, I really wanted to like be a surgeon. I thought it would be so interesting to like look into someone's body and see how the pieces move together.
Tell the truth. Is it because you wanted to open someone up and when no one was looking, you wanted to put a little jelly bean in them or some shit like that?
It's awful. No.
They call you the jelly bean killer?
No.
Cadavers, is that what they're called?
Stop.
like
We're
them?
going.
This is like
enough.
the jelly bean killer. Man, the last 7 Dr. Coelho patients who have had some kind of open surgery have died of jelly bean. It's got to be an aid. It's got to be an aid or a family. Who's the common connection outside of the doctor?
Same butterscotch jelly bean every single time.
Butterscotch jelly bean.
Whatever. I was trying to think of a flavor.
I know, but what a weird one to pick for a jelly bean.
I know. There's always like popcorn's always nasty. Why do they put that in there?
Anyways, when I deviated in college, I went on and tried to find some random job.
Yeah.
Got L'Occitane, met Paula, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That certainly... It didn't change my life because I don't know, it created the route where my life went. And then Tim was like, hey, come work at IGN.
I'm fucking doing this.
So yeah.
The scheme, the long play.
But like that's the thing. Me and
What's
Tim
it
have
called?
always
Slow play?
planned to do something like this. We never knew what it was. So like I don't even want to say like, Tim, you changed my life because
No,
it's like that was
it's like
always
we made that
was
together.
when we were like 12 playing around with the camera, we were like, someday we're gonna make this shit work. And so I have a couple moments that like changed or at least made me feel like what my goal was for life changed.
Gotcha.
Where it was like, okay, I should do well in school. And then the other one was like, I don't want to go to medical school. I don't want to try to become a doctor. Yeah.
Tim?
There's a lot of easy answers. One that I want to give a shout out is
Shout-outs.
Eric Hart from IGN. Because he was the
Homie.
first person ever in my life to take what I did very seriously. Like he saw me making the YouTube videos or whatever. He was like, oh, this kid is doing something special and he knows what he's doing. He could make IGN better.
Right.
And I like hearing that, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And like that gave me so much like juice that I was just like, oh man, like it pushed me to be so much better. And it pushed me to be who I am now. Cause I was like, I liked what I did and I knew it was good, but it wasn't until someone else validated it was doing it way better that I was like, oh fuck. Like there's something to be
it's
learned
really
here.
weird. There's a really weird thing that happens when someone you respect goes, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was something I was missing in my life all the way up until that one moment where like someone that I saw in a position of power and authority doing something that like in a field that I liked was like, you can do this. And then it just clicked. Right. And that was the weirdest thing. I often think like, what would my life have been like if when I was a freshman in high school, we had a film program like that? And someone was like, oh, you can be part of a film club where we make movies. I would have been like, whoa. You know, like I wonder how much of it was just me being super lazy and like really liking Twinkies or versus just not like bumping into that one person that could have altered the course.
I mean,
for
I
me.
think that it's kind of what Kevin's saying is like everything just kind of adds
cumulative, yeah.
and it's all cumulative. So it's like it's hard to say because I truly think that even going back to the comic stuff, I remember being in high school and being like, oh man, I can't wait till the day that my homework assignment is to just make movies or like make videos. But then once that became the homework, I was like, ugh, I don't want to.
a hassle,
The moment
yeah.
you have to do something, it makes it
It's
less
the moment
enjoyable.
that it's work.
So even every week with the comic books, I dread it when I'm like, oh fuck, I have to read this book by tomorrow just because I have to. Once I'm reading it, I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not that you're lazy. It's just there's something in human nature that the moment you need to do something, you want to do literally.
Well, I
anything
mean, it's
else
out of
and
your control,
procrastinate.
you know, at that moment.
So you're just like,
yeah.
But for me, I want to give a shout out to Eric. But the person I want to say is one of my best friends, Curran Wong, who he was my first friend that I would say that I chose. Like Kevin was thrust into my life.
All right, well, that hurts my feelings.
But your family, like
Yeah, all right.
that's a totally different thing. But in middle school, meeting this guy and meeting that group of friends, they are the ones that motivated me to be better. And I had, like I said before, always done my homework and stuff. But I saw what they were doing, and life instantly became a video game where I'm like, I want my stats better than their stats, and it turned into like this like
Healthy competition.
healthy competition that we would, you know, work together at school, go home and play games. And it just was like this, our entire friendship was based off of trying to push each other to be better. And it's crazy to look at it now. I look at them, like that whole group, and I'm like, they're so successful. Like Curran owns a house. He's getting married.
He's
he
an
has
adult-ass
He's an
motherfucker.
adult. He has two awesome ass dogs. And I'm like,
Dope ass
it's
dogs.
just crazy that like this little fucking punk ass kid that I grew up with, that I lent Crazy Taxi on PlayStation 2 to, and he let me
Such a good
Onimusha,
game.
changing my life, is now an adult. And it's like to see where I'm at. It's like to hear the way he talks about me and what we do blows my mind because I'm like, this doesn't feel like a real thing. You know, I'm just fucking being a dipshit. But then having them be at Kind of Funny Live and just being like blown away by it all. And like having conversations with him, he's like, dude, like I remember just being at your house and we would just film random bullshit.
Random
and here we
bullshit,
are.
such
So
random
it's like,
bullshit.
if I had never met him, I don't think I'd be where I'm at now. Because I think that there was a couple key moments where I could have ended up in a different group, not been in the honors classes, and just been
It would have been gone totally different.
totally different. I would not have went to Lowell.
Yeah.
If I had met Curran, I would not have went to Lowell. I would have been at any of the other schools in SF.
Interesting.
And
they
I would have
suck.
been a gangbanger.
Wait, was it because he
God.
motivated you to do better, or because he was going to Lowell and you wanted to go to Lowell with him?
You know, I don't think I'm doing a good job of explaining this whole thing, but the real thing was that I finally had somebody that could not tell me what to do, but that I could ask for advice when I had no idea. Because like my mom and dad were like just
Hippies.
so much, they're
Right,
hippies. They're
right.
so out of date with it, and they didn't complete college and like this whole thing, and I didn't have an older brother and any of that. So it's like having Curran and his family with his older sisters, that really helped me, because when I didn't know how to apply for the SATs or didn't know how to whatever, I could ask them and just be like, can you help me do
Right.
this or
Right,
whatever?
right.
Or because when we had to apply for high school, it's like I had no idea where to get that. I didn't have a computer at that point, so I like just even asking
dark
them,
times.
like they taught me how to type. You know, it's like things like that.
Punch the
where
keys.
Without that, I would have been fucked.
Yeah, I had a group of friends like that as well in high school, which I was very fortunate about. I don't know how I lucked into that, but I just had a few friends that were just very smart go-getters, and I was just like, hey, are those coattails?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nick,
Yeah.
what's topic number 3?
Topic number 3 has to do with small children.
How
and
many we can fight.
technology, right?
With a computer.
With a computer. I see this all the time now. I see kids with cell phones, like playing with their parents' cell phones and all that stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck is this doing to these children? Like, at what point, granted, none of us are parents, so we really shouldn't weigh in on this, but we're going to do it anyway because it's our fucking show. We'll do what we want. And if you have a problem
Kevin and I
with
are
it,
going to be.
suck it.
Together.
At what point do you think it's appropriate to give a kid a cell phone?
Well, here's-
Immediately.
Oh, okay.
It's a tough conversation. Tough
What I want to
conversation.
dial it back, I want background information. When you got your first cell phone.
I mean, I'm old, so I
Yeah,
didn't get
I'm
my first
old.
cell phone until college. I had a Nokia, the first
Yeah, you did a
generation.
little blue
Nokia.
one on it, right?
Little
Yep,
blue
yeah, I
one,
had that
but-
one too.
Yeah,
I
chuck
got
that into
that
the fucking
probably, you're talking circa 2000, 2001.
When I got my license at 16, there was my mom put the second cell phone or whatever, or her old cell phone, into the glove box. I don't count that, with the exception that my number kept going with that. So I had that in the glove box for emergencies, which of course would never help you because the battery's going to be dead and like you have to pull it out and charge it and you're fucking on fire car, I guess. I don't know what else going to happen. But it was that sophomore year at college at Mizzou at the end of the year, no, beginning of the year, I got the blue Nokia mailed down to me. Yeah, and because I remember it was that at the end of freshman year, we were at the Antler House, and Adam White walked in with a new phone. And we're all like, "Whoa, like fancy
like,
guy
"What's
over
up,
here
rich
with
kid?
his cell phone."
Chad.
And then that next year, my mom was like, "I'm mailing you one. Like you need to have one to get in touch." And I remember I took a terrible photo of Goose on Rosemary Lane because I was walking down playing with his phone. It was the first
Goose.
No,
his
the
friend
man
Goose.
You were hanging out with
The man Goose.
He ran the Antlers when I
Anthony
first got there.
Edwards? Okay.
Right, he was huge, right?
Oh yeah, he was big. He was a big fat guy.
Dude, the punch the.
Well, no. You're thinking of Travis. Goose was just a fat guy. Shorter than
a lot
me.
of fat guys in the Antlers.
Hence, I mean, I totally stole Team Fat from them, and they've never sued me.
Well,
so
if they come at us, we're fucked because they're big
done.
guys.
No, they're not anymore. Now they're all cowards. They got kids. We know how to hit them hard.
That's terrible.
So in sophomore year, got that phone, and I also remember this is still in the time too. I don't know how much you had to deal with it. Of like, all right, cool. I'm gonna text whoever. Oh, it's a long distance number. I'm gonna call whoever. Oh, it's a long distance number. Like, fuck. Is anybody from that area code? Can someone else call this person?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely remember that.
I remember that was a problem for way too long.
Yeah, and we were even fucked because we had different area codes.
So my
that.
phone would have been 2002 then. What about you guys?
How old were you then?
I was sophomore in college, so 19.
20. All right, 19. And then how old were you?
I was. I probably would have been 20. Wait, that can't be right because I'm way older than you are.
So you're like
How old are you?
decidedly older than
Like 2
me.
years older than
Me?
you.
Yeah.
29. 34. I'm 34.
Okay, that's about right. I'm 37. So maybe mine was a little earlier. Mine may have been 98, 99 ish.
How old were you though? 18?
Probably 18, 19. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
somewhere around 20 was when I got a cell phone for the first time.
I want to say I was probably 16.
Okay.
So my parents were always really cheap. No.
No, they lived lavish life
cheap.
once.
They were
very
cheap.
cheap, yeah.
I was 14 when I started going to community college. And it wasn't like,
You started going to community college at 14?
yeah.
Okay.
It was like the
Side classes or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. For state. Like
Wow.
I knew that was my plan.
Okay,
so it
okay.
was like, do your PE now because it's like summer and you can knock it out.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, it sucked. It like I didn't have a summer.
But you had some sweet ass arrow lessons.
Dude, man, I could shoot an arrow. You know what I mean?
Did you have to do like the bowling class?
Let's go hunt, man.
You didn't have to.
No, I mean like for PE. PE in high school taught us
No,
bowling.
the-
Flunked the fuck out of that. I can't. Bowling's so hard to fucking count. Especially if you're bad at math.
Yeah, it's dumb. Anyways, so yeah, somewhere around 14, maybe 15.
Tim, when'd you get your phone?
8th grade. I was 13, the year 2003, and I got that fucking sweet nasty Motorola T720.
Can I see a photo of
Remember
it?
that thing?
Was that the flip one?
I
Does it
do.
flip?
It's not the Motorola Razr, which is
No,
just
which he
no,
got
that was after
later.
this.
Oh man,
No,
when
I
you
never
got
a Razr. I never got a Razr. I was a T720 dude.
No.
T721.
Didn't you get a Razr eventually?
I loved that fucking phone.
I wasn't a
The Razr was cool.
Didn't someone have a Razr,
So
Greg?
this phone for
Dude, no,
everybody,
you
Google
definitely
it.
had a Razr. I
I've
think
never
you had
had
a
a
blue
Razr.
Razr.
Never had a Razr. I didn't have a Razr. Didn't have a Razr. Don't know what to tell you.
I think you're wrong.
What's up?
Yeah.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, but
Totally
Google
had a
the Motorola T720. It was like the first next gen phone because it was the flip phone. But then the Razr was the one that came in, and that was like
Changed the fucking game.
This was the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Oh,
then-
ahead of its time.
And
All
then
right.
that was
Yeah.
like
Copy
the Xbox.
that.
or
I
whatever.
remember I got that black Razr after I had graduated and started working at the Tribune, and I was out on assignment or something, and I pulled it out in this like it was I forget what I was at school and there was all these kids, and I pulled it out and went like that, and these kids lost their fucking mind. I suddenly became the coolest adult in the world.
Well, the Razr, that was the first really
Fucking cool
expensive,
phone, yeah.
pricey thing with commercials that
Yeah,
made it
yeah,
look
yeah.
cool.
It was all very cool looking.
Yeah.
It was a dope phone.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just how thin it was. Like that was when it became a big thing about
God.
how small the phone could possibly
Yeah.
be. Because the big one with mine was it was in the line of the first phones that had the polyphonic ringtones instead of MIDI. So you could actually buy ringtones that were
Songs.
they still weren't songs
Right.
because
But they sounded like it.
later. But it sounded more like it than just the like. It sounded more like a Super Nintendo than a Nintendo.
right.
I want to say I had one of the. Actually, I think I did have one of those. I think I got that after
We're
the
looking.
Nokia.
It's coming
And
up.
what was great about this phone is that you can take the cover off and replace it with like custom
Oh.
straps
Right,
and shit.
that's
So it's like
right.
everyone had it and everyone like would
Man, think
trade
about
their
that.
cases.
Think about that industry for a second, right? That like the industry that would like Bejewel and all that
Chinatown,
stuff.
that
And
makes
now that
so
shit's
easy.
all gone. It's all gone.
Well, it's all just replaced.
Yeah, I mean, it's been replaced
Yeah,
by
well,
cases
it's
and things like that.
cases,
But,
yeah.
but do you remember, like, for instance, I used to drive by this place. There used to be, like, all these stores, like, for beepers. Remember that? And you'd get, like, different bodies for the beeper, all that stuff.
I don't
Dude, it
remember.
was it was, like, a big deal for, like, 10 years. And then cell phones demolished that. And now smartphones have demolished
Fucking
all the
fidget
cell
spinners
phones.
everywhere.
Well, I remember
Like, do they
when
even sell BlackBerries anymore?
I remember when my mom
BlackBerry does have a phone. But
when my mom got the first cell phone for the family or whatever, and it was when I think not when Grandma was sick, but it was when Poppy was getting sick, whatever. When her parents were starting to go, and it was one of those that came in like a bag. That she had this like bag that you like had to unzip the top of like an old camcorder bag and open up and then bring out the
from
receiver.
like
and
the
it was
Lethal
connected.
Weapon phone,
Yeah,
where he's like, yeah, man, he must be lethal.
it was
weapon.
fucking huge, yeah, but it was how you had to do it at the time. Anyways, so now, 2017.
Yeah.
When do you think? Well, how old should a kid be to have a phone?
Yeah. I mean, Tim, you answered immediately. Just put the phone in the kid's hand.
I
let
mean,
him go.
going back, like looking at my life and going back to the last topic we just talked about, one of the biggest hurdles in my life is that I didn't know how to use a computer when everyone else around me did. So guess what? Phones aren't going anywhere. The internet's not going anywhere.
kind of a must-have skill
It's a
set.
must-have in a way that like I feel like people should learn how to use this stuff effectively and efficiently as soon as possible.
Are
It's a
we
language.
are we counting iPads in this equation?
Yeah, it's all
because
the
what
same
I
shit.
see now is when I go to the restaurant and the kid is on the iPad.
I would
he's
say
like 3
anything
or
that can
whatever.
get on the internet. Anything
Okay.
that anything that
An
can allow
internet-enabled
kids
device?
to look at all the horrors and
Or-
majesty of the internet.
What about just like if it's not on the internet, but playing like one of the like any game?
well, first off, it's fucked up if you're like you can have a cell phone, but you give the kid the flip phone.
Well, I mean,
No,
like
that's the thing.
Well, no,
that's
still
what,
get
that's
that.
what I want to do with my kids is for like I agree that they should have their phone like a phone right away just because I think people should be accessible at every point.
My knee-jerk answer to this question would be, before we start getting the weeds of it, would be as soon as the kid's going off and doing things without me.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, of like you just playing in the woods, doing whatever the fuck. Like when you, I don't need to be holding your little pudgy fucking hand and walking you around
Right.
the goddamn playground, acting
that's
like I'm
like-
having a good time.
I
when I should
still
be playing
think
Uncharted
that
8.
That time should be for the like flip phone where it's like it can do phone calls, it has no games on it.
But when's the
it's not-
kid gonna get off on their own? What are they gonna do? Like if they're out of my sight for that long, they're with a babysitter or somebody.
Where they stole your credit card, ordered an Uber, and then
Wait, you're saying are you on the same page with me where they go off on their own?
Well, yeah. When they go off their own, so they have
Now I'm with you.
accessibility to call. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think that like games or
Well, you can
internet should be
put
super
things on that, right? You can
Yeah,
lock
but
it.
like there's always ways around that.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But see, I think you're also
Always.
forgetting the fact that Tim's right? Like you can only control what your kid does. You want to let your kid go off. You want to put a chip in him like a dog or whatever, so you can like find him and shock him whenever the fuck you
100%.
want. Like that's something you could do, right?
I don't think legally you can.
Gray area, you know what I mean? Gray area.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's
Both
gray
ways.
area. Yeah.
I want to pull the car over for a second, put on the emergency flashers, and tell a story that's somewhat related to what just happened, but not at all related to the topic. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
That's how you
100%.
say Greg.
Yeah,
How
let's
can we
do it.
say no?
I climb into the
I'm
Uber
intrigued.
a couple weeks ago. Gonna go home. Get in there, right under the phone, answering emails, doing Slack stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? Driving. And about halfway home, some traffic accrues. And so it's a stop, and we have a moment to catch our breath. And I'm finally like, doing that thing where you're like, rubbing the bridge of your nose, put the phone in the pocket. Like I'm just gonna look out the window and relax for the next 10 minutes, whatever. As I do this, my driver looks back in the mirror and he goes, Greg, I just feel like we never got a chance to connect on this ride. And I laugh. I'm like, that's a funny thing to say. Like, yeah, I know, man. The work never stops. He's like, no, I understand. And it was that thing of like, all right, cool. We're going to leave it at that. That was just a funny joke. I can see myself saying something like that to somebody who's doing work and being busy. And instead we go another minute and a half and he just goes, so Greg, how do you feel about microchips in humans?
You're like, let me out of the car,
Microchips
sir.
or RFIDs? Did he explain?
He explains. Trust me. Let me.
let you get there.
I had
Sorry.
gone back on my phone at this point. I put it in my pocket. And I knew his name, Daryl. I forget what it was. Put it in my hand. I'm like, Daryl, you're talking about like the things you put under your skin that you can check yourself out with or get yourself into your apartment or whatever. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to be wave one. I'm not going to be gen one of that technology, but I'm not going to hold it against anybody who wants to do that themselves. And he's like, I'm like, what do you think, Daryl? And he's like, oh, I got one in me.
There it is.
And I'm like, oh, you do? Like, oh. And I'm like, tell me more about that. He's like, oh, well, it was put in there against my will.
Oh, well.
And I was like,
By the aliens? Did the aliens
all
put it in
right.
there?
The
Close.
government,
I'm like,
CIA
all
government.
right. And he's like, yeah. And the story goes abridged that Daryl has this friend who has this new friend. And Daryl goes over to the new friend's place, and they're with their
No
crew.
new friends. That's the rule.
They're the crew. They're drinking out of red Solo cups. Daryl makes this clear. They're drinking Jack Daniels. And at some point, the new friend comes over with a shot glass filled with what Daryl assumes was Jack Daniels, and says, "Hey, this is just to welcome you to the crew." And Daryl's like, "All right, man, thanks." And he shoots it. And then like 5-10 minutes goes by, and Daryl's like, "I don't feel good. I'm feeling like I gotta go to bed now. I'm gonna go to bed now." He's like, he tells his friend, "I'm gonna go." And the old friend and new friend are like, "No, dude, you can't. You've been drinking. You gotta sleep here. You gotta stay here." And Daryl's like, "All right." And Daryl says they pile together clothes to make him a little bed. Daryl lays down. Next thing Daryl knows, he wakes up with the new friend on top of him, and then Daryl is puking. To which Daryl is like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You're getting sick. We were trying to." He's like, "Okay." And he runs to the bathroom, continues to get sick there. Then when he's done getting sick, he comes up and looks in the mirror. His ear is bleeding. He comes out. He's like, "What the fuck happened to my ear? Why is my ear bleeding?" New friend says, "You fell down." And Daryl's like, "I was asleep. How did I fall down?" He's like, "I don't know, man. You got up and you fell down, and and then you started puking." And Daryl's like, "All right, man. I don't know about that." Literally, that's what story's left with me. And then it's like, and so he's like, "So long story short, I have a microchip in my head." And I was like, what does that mean?
Head injuries could lead to ear bleeding and puking. So
like-
that's not crazy.
I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, you know how I was complaining." Well, he's like, "Well, I started hearing things and seeing things." And I was like, "All right."
Also a sign of a concussion.
And I'm like, "All right." And he's like, "So I went in to the doctor to get the MRI, the CAT scan." And I was like, "All right." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, he went into the doctor to get the MRI, the CAT scan. And, you know, these new chips, they're made of silicone. They can't be seen by the MRI, the CAT scan. And I was like, "So did the MRI find it?" He's like, "No, can't find it because it's silicone and it's grafted inside of my head to my nerves in both my ear and my eyes." And I said, "Okay."
Lord.
And he's like, and I'm like, "So what are you seeing? What are you hearing?" He's like, "Well, what it is the government recording me. Obviously, they're watching what I'm doing and stuff."
They want to know your
But
thoughts.
this is where Daryl makes it interesting.
This is where it gets
This is where it gets
Yeah.
interesting. Daryl tells me that he's finally figured out that his visions are the camera working both ways. So they can see what he's doing, but he can see them, what they're doing. He's like, "I see them in lab coats.
Not how
I
cameras
see
work.
them walking around with lab coats.
Transmitters, Nick.
One of the women has high heels." And I said, "All right, cool." I'm like, "How often do you see these things, Daryl?" He says, "All the time." He's seeing it right there. At which point I was like, "Oh, well, this is my stop off. Sorry that happened to you." And I got out of the car.
It's a good call.
yeah.
It's a good, strong
Jeez, I
call.
hope he wasn't driving to your house.
I got out early.
Yeah, I that's one of those situations where if that had happened to me, I'd be like, "Who do I have to call to get this person off the road?" Because that person is not mentally sound.
There's a lot of problems. At any point in that story, I thought you were just going to be like, and that's the plot of some movie.
Oh, I thought he was fucking with us too. I thought he was
Yeah.
like, I thought he was like, "How? Let's see how
was like,
long this
there's
story
no
can
way
go."
Greg's story
because at
is
some point
staying
I was
on the
like,
line.
"Is Grandma Miller
Yeah.
coming back in to find
Sorry,
a
my
fucking
apologies. No, I know
story?
I've set that up for myself with my own storytelling abilities.
But that's
no.
a real story.
That's a real story that happened.
Well,
Real
that's
good one.
terrifying.
Yeah,
At what
yeah.
point during that did you think this guy is going to drug me, or maybe I already have a chip in
And
me?
he might-
Well, what I did is that
some bone
the
collector
problem
shit right
was is that Daryl had a brand new car we were in, and he's registered through Uber, and he seems like a nice guy. And so, as I've reflected on this story, as I often do, and not often enough, since I forgot to tell any of you the story, but I told Jen as soon as I got back, is maybe Daryl is in line with me. Maybe Daryl is. I don't know. You know what? We've been driving for 15 minutes. We're halfway to this. Whatever's going to happen. We're stuck in traffic. I'm going to fuck with this guy. We haven't connected much on this. No, we haven't. Here's this fucking random ass story about me getting microchipped and seeing both ways.
That's some shit that you would do.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're unique.
And
very
a lot of
special.
people.
Snowflake.
maybe-
No, I don't think that a lot of people would do that.
No.
No,
remember,
no.
Remember the
100%
ant thing I was
no.
talking about today? A lot of people would do that.
What ant thing?
The ant thing and the flowers. Your mom gets the flowers. She's all excited. Ants coming out.
that was another one of your moments where it's like, Jesus.
That's the thing, though. Daryl
How
never
do you-
broke. Daryl never broke. He never laughed. At the end, he shook my hand and didn't like.
I mean, were you not uncomfortable?
No.
There's pretty early on in that story, I was uncomfortable just hearing you say it.
Sure.
Being in an Uber with this dude,
Yep.
I don't like Uber drivers talking to me, period.
Yeah, of course.
If they start saying some fucking shit like that,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would ask them
How many
to
stars
stop.
did you give him?
Totally forgot to leave the review.
Probably not
Oh,
too
I
many.
would have loved that review. That would have been a fun
Well,
one.
I meant to do it of like, hey, this guy doesn't. Something's weird. I don't know. But
Something's
then,
weird. I don't know. He thinks he
Man.
has a microchip in his head.
well, you know.
Well, he's pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got compelling evidence.
I'm just trying to figure out how in this guy's mind he was like, I was out for 30 minutes, and they did brain surgery on me without leaving any marks.
Nick, I'm sure there's some sort of tool you just put in. Done.
That's it.
Connected
They grafted it to your nerves.
To connect to my eye and ear.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Easily accessible. He's making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How did they get past the eardrum? I don't know.
Nobody knows. They went through and through the nose and the ear at the same time. Surgical vibrancy.
The nose is actually a good call, but he was
Nose.
bleeding out of the ear.
Well,
so.
maybe he did it actually.
So my
fall.
apologies. I'm taking the flashers off. We can get back on the highway here as we
Okay.
were talking about this thing. So we're back on.
I don't remember what the topic was. Oh, the kids, right?
Kids
Yeah,
with cell
yeah.
phones.
When they get their cell phones.
So Tim says immediately, I say don't give them a cell phone and just put a chip in their eye socket so you can hear and listen to everything.
Oh, the
they're
Daryl
saying.
chip we've heard so much
Yeah.
about in the news recently.
Sounds like a good plan to me, right? If you know where your kid is at all times,
And they
you're
can just see
already
you
listening-
pop up like, come home.
Like imagine if your kid's first sexual experience, right?
Oh, no.
It's
Why?
you got a
Why would
little
you wanna
boy,
imagine that?
And he's gonna make out with a girl for the first time, and she starts to touch his penis, and he's like, "This is fantastic," and you're like, "Should I fuck with this kid right now or not?" I'm watching this happen. It might be illegal,
Nick's
but I'm
just at
watching
home
it.
like
Most
this.
certainly.
And then you-
illegal.
then you
Most
pop up
certainly
and you're
illegal.
like,
every aspect.
You pop up and you're like, the devil is in your penis. You know what I mean?
Why would
Like,
you
the
scar them for life?
Why not? It's hilarious. And
'Cause
then
they're gonna
every
be a
year
human
after that,
being
they're like, remember that time
eventually."
I fucked up your first time you were gonna have sex, and I can't. How was you watching me watching you? That's fucked up, right?
Tim brings up a really good point in that if you don't give them your kids accessibility to technology, then they are behind. And I think that like I hadn't thought about that. Like that is a real like I don't want my kid to be all day playing on stuff. But at the same
they're
time,
going to be though, right? Because you're putting the world's most addictive legal technology in the hands of a brain that's not formed yet. Like, what does that do to a kid?
Well,
I
I mean-
think that it's another thing where the grass is always greener and you're trying to get the thing that you can't have. The moment you have it,
Sure.
it's less like
not everyone is like that though.
Oh, no,
Some
but
people
I
fall
think
in
kids
and
all
become
fucking
addicted.
idiots.
I think a lot of
true,
kids
yeah.
are though, right?
I think most kids are.
Most
I think
people
most kids
are.
are this.
Even us in technology.
I don't think it's
can't wait
understanding
for PS4 or Switch, whatever, some device, and you get it and it's great, and then it just becomes part of your life, and it's like, oh, I haven't played the Switch in X number of weeks or whatever. Which is
I'm
true,
sorry.
of course.
I did
but,
misunderstand
God, I'm
that.
so excited.
I
For
would
the Switch
say
tonight.
yes when it comes to
Download
things
that
that
game,
are.
Yeah.
I would say yes when it comes to things like that, but for whatever reason, the cell phone is different. The cell phone is like, we're
I
all
think-
addicted to these
So
cell
The
phones.
cell phone, I would put there's restraints, I'm sure, and I know that the kid could break through when he wants to, or
Yeah.
she could wants to.
But I guess that's learning something important too, how to break that system, you know?
that's very important.
Yeah.
Imagine, Kevin, if your kids didn't know keyboard commands.
Oh God.
They were
Imagine
I don't think they would be mine at
Imagine
that
what's
point.
going to happen when when you have kids, and they're cool, and they go hang out with Uncle Nick, and they come back, and they're like, I need a Mac.
No,
I need a Mac.
No, my kids.
I am an Apple
My kids will be
person.
sitting there.
I'm gonna
being
get
like,
your kid the
Wait,
top
I'm
of the
hitting
line
Control
iPhone."
C and it's not working, and you're gonna be like, well,
Apple C.
you have to hit Command C.
No, 'cause what I'll tell them
Is
is I
it
was like,
Apple C?
It's either
Cool
one.
kids hit Command C.
Yeah, and then they're gonna look at their Uncle Nick and be like,
really cool silver
Uncle
iPhone.
Nick doesn't know what cool kids are. I'm really uncomfortable.
No,
Pick
I
me
would just
up.
go like this. Here
And
it
you're
is.
like, wait, I'm sorry,
iPhone.
Nick Scarpino's here again? He violated the restraining order again, Paula.
and then you pop up in your kid's
What do you
iPhone,
got?
like, "Run!"
What is the breakdown on your kids being vegetarian?
Oh no!
Yeah?
I'm putting your
Not at
kid
all. And I
needs
told
animal
her
proteins.
from the very beginning. I was like,
Okay.
hey, you're gonna try to raise them as vegetarians, and if you put in the work, you figure out getting them meals.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, that's what they're gonna eat. But every once in a while, I'm gonna come in with several pounds of whatever animal I've
Sure.
decided on, and I'm gonna cook it up in a great way, and they're gonna be like, this is all I ever want to
Mm-hmm.
eat. So I'm letting her, if she wants to
Push this
really push the
nonsense?
vegetarian nonsense, I'm gonna take them to flavor country.
Did you see this news report going around today?
No, I
of
did
this, over in, I think it's England. These firefighters saved these piglets or whatever during this farm. All the hay caught on fire, and as a reward, the woman made them into sausage and brought them into the firefighters.
But see, they served a purpose.
Yeah, I mean that's what
Yeah.
they were there
Yeah,
for. It's not like,
exactly.
oh, you fucks almost got barbecued.
But I would have been like, hey, I risked my life to save these things, and you just fucking
I don't know if
slaughtered
I
them.
mean that's how the story played out in the first few
Yeah.
graphs. I'm not sure.
don't
I think
like
it was
that
to save the
story.
farm or
I love
whatever.
that
It's not
story.
just
I
for
don't
the
like it at all.
pigs.
That
Fair
is
enough.
like,
Fair enough.
it's exactly what they were meant for, and like they lived and served their purpose,
But
and now everyone gets
they
to
were
enjoy
too
it.
intimately connected.
See, I think
No, I guarantee you the firemen were like, well, that fucking sucks. It like,
delicious.
I'm sure they weren't excited to save these fucking little piglets.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's at a certain point, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like the thing was coming down, and the firefighter, like, trips, and he looks over, and Babe, the pig's just staring at him, and, like, he grabs it, and they run out, and, like, as the barn explodes, and then Babe looks up at him, and they lock eyes, and then a day day later he's eating Babe. Like, I don't think it was like that.
It was like 6
Yeah.
I'm
months.
pretty sure it was exactly
Was
that.
it 6 months
How
later?
would
Yeah.
it be different?
It's great.
Because
Because
the
my
guy
friends
was
are
big.
like
I like that it was
this.
those specific
Cool,
piglets,
we got the
too.
pigs out. And then
Yeah, that's
who
exactly.
cares?
I'm sure that's what I was
Most
like.
people don't give a fuck about animals.
If I
Yeah.
saw the pig, I don't want to eat the pig.
If the
No, we're
pig
so different.
looked at me and like nudged me, I'd be like, fuck, I can't eat this pig. I can't eat this pig. That's why they say on farms, like, you can't name the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause then
My
you get,
uncle's
you-
kids
yeah.
always do. My uncle has like a mansion, and he like part of it is a farm in Peru, and they always name the pigs. And
Don't do it.
every time they have the big party, and they hang up the pig and slit its throat. He's like, you shouldn't have fucking named it. I told you last time not to name it.
Yeah. Yeah.
These kids are 35 years old, and it's the same.
no, I think that it's-
I see. I feel like to back to this topic of conversation. We all jump to iPhones, smart devices. That's what the phones are now. I agree. That's what I would do. I think I'll put restraints on it in terms of what it can and can't do. Mainly, it is a phone or calling or texting, depending on how old the child
Yeah.
is. And then iPad/video game /TV or whatever screen time is not limited. Like, you only get, I've been counting. You've got 15 minutes left of your hour a day. It's just like, are you being social? Are we doing something? How are we making it work? I think that's the way to
I think
start.
the
to
key
start.
is teaching them what to do and how to give them something that they want. Early on, when my dad taught me how to turn on the I don't even know what the machine was called nowadays. Like,
TV.
The cable box, I guess.
Yeah.
But back
Cable
then,
box,
it was
that's
like,
right.
but it wasn't cable box. It was something different. Where
TV
you would
tuner.
change change the channels on.
No, it was the cable box.
It wasn't cable box. It was before we got cable. But like just teaching me go to channel 15 for this. Go to channel whatever. Then it's like, cool. I'm gonna do that thing because that gets me what I want. Well, I'm not just exploring the world of all the other channels. Those are boring. They're the news. I'm not trying to watch
Sometimes
that.
it's scrambled porn.
Every Sunday on Nick, it was Nick News with Linda Ellerby.
That's all you needed to do. That's all you needed to
Fuck
know.
that.
They brought you
Shit
right.
was garbage. You liked that?
Nick News, yeah, where they like come together and talk, and they'd have like all the kids on the stumps, and they talk. All right, let's talk about what AIDS is, and they'd be like, all right, what's
Yeah.
AIDS? Yeah. No, that's what you needed. That's why you're fucked up. That's why you're.
Can you imagine?
She's like, they're like,
young,
all
not
right,
that young Greg Miller sitting there being like, oh shit, AIDS.
First thing that Linda Ellerby, was that her name?
Linda Ellerby, yeah.
Linda Ellerby's like, all right, cool. First thing we're gonna teach, when somebody says AIDS, you don't cheer.
You don't cheer.
Don't cheer AIDS.
They're always cheering shit on Nick. Like,
Yeah,
always
no,
cheering shit.
no,
Don't cheer
no.
for AIDS. Don't cheer for AIDS.
Then they get slimed.
Yeah.
It's just
You gotta
really
go through
drive
some
on the
sort of
point.
weird obstacle course. I don't know. For me, I think I mean, I'm conflicted. I agree with Tim. I'm like, I think you just got to. The kid's gonna have a phone eventually. Like, dive in. But then I also think to myself, I'm like, there's so many other skills, interpersonal skills, that I feel like the kid's just not gonna get if they're always attached to their phone. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
learned my interpersonal friendship connections from AIM. Like, I just don't think that those
Sure.
arguments hold up because I spent
Well, I
so
don't
much
know,
time
because-
playing basketball in the park where I texted my friends, hey, you want to play basketball in the park? You know, like I all those experiences are still being had. You
Sure.
go to playgrounds, there's still kids in playgrounds. You know, you go to other things kids do, like swimming pools and
There's
holes.
still
I don't know
kids
what
in
they
the
do with
swimming
that. I don't
pools.
care.
Yeah.
They're still there. If
Somebody
there's a
save these kids.
freaking tree rope swing,
Freaking
I
kids
bet
swinging.
you there's a line of kids waiting to get on that.
Well, there's no line.
But
There's
here's
no
the
line.
difference.
Those little
All those kids are
chaos.
doing all that stuff, and they're holding their phones in their hand. They're communicating with each other through the phones. So it's like,
No,
That-
they're
that's
not.
such
They're
a, like,
talking. That
exaggerated
that
old person
doesn't
thing to say.
exaggerate.
sure, but I see it like I see
Like-
it even with us, right? Like we all do this every time we sit at lunch.
When
we
there's
all
a
pick up
lull,
our phones
though.
and we go to
Yeah.
that because it's way more fun to talk to our phones than it is to talk to me.
Well, I mean,
see how
I
it
don't
is.
think it's way more fun.
Motherfucker.
It's
All
like,
chip on your
I think
shoulder.
we all feel responsibility to be like, oh, I haven't gone through tweets. I know I'm gonna have hella later. I haven't checked my Instagram post. Like, are the
I
numbers?
mean, the other
clear?
thing
Yeah.
too is like I understand that the argument people make is like, oh, you're so detached because you're all on your phone or whatever. But it's also the fact that the phone is just the portal to the people who mean the most, right? Like we're out and I love you guys and we run a great business and it's so much fun. But like, oh, hey, Jen's texting and I have something I want to say to Jen that I text her to do it, and it's not like that. But it's also that thing of, oh, you're thinking of your mom or something to say to your mom. You'd say it to her right there, right then. And before it was like wait to get home to make the phone call or just wait to see that person.
Right.
And it's even now where it's like I always love the. People are always, you look at, the train or whatever, and people are just always on their phone or whatever. And like you go back and like there's that great photo of everyone reading the newspaper on the train, ignoring each other. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's where all the information's at your fingertips, but so's every other human being you want to talk to or need to talk to in that moment. And when we are out to lunch, it's like you're done checking in on Twitter because you want to make sure everything's fine, or seeing on Instagram or posting what you just took with Cool Greg. You put it down and you are there when you have something to talk about. But even on the car ride home today, me, Tim, and Joey were not even on our phones at one point. We're all just like sitting there, just like totally spaced for a second of, hey, we don't have to talk to each other right now. We're chilling out. And then I broke the silence and asked him something about
If I'm being
Bachelorette.
honest, the Sugar Pine 7 song was stuck in my head, and I didn't want to put it on because I think they would have just got it stuck in everyone else's
My problem / blessing is I still haven't heard this song. So I know
very
that
good.
Point, stay away.
Andy and
very
Joey,
good.
they keep every so often
The
picking
video
up
is
parts of it.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. They do great work over there.
Remember when we talked about making music videos for like 3 years?
We've made music videos.
Yeah.
We've made multiple music videos. million+ viewed music videos, I might fucking add.
Kevin,
Yo.
what's your topic?
So I went to New York City with Cool Greg over there.
New York
Sitting down the
City.
board. New York City.
Yeah.
We went.
City of Angels.
No. Big
Brotherly
Apple.
love.
The Windy City.
All right.
The Down
City
Under.
by the Bay.
So 2K Games sent us. 2K 2018 sent us to check out WWE. Well, I fucked that up, but yeah, you guys know it. You guys know
you
what
went to
I'm
see
saying.
WWE 2K.
Yeah.
Is there an embargo on any of that, or?
No, we
Okay,
can
cool.
talk about everything.
Just
We can
making sure.
post all the interviews. What was really cool is we did a red carpet.
Yeah.
Like that was the main crux of the event.
So run it before you do it. Run through the schedule because you were there Thursday night through Monday morning.
Yes.
that's a lot to see a game or go to.
right
can, you,
back.
can you get me more water too?
Yeah.
Can you also open the
get me a
blinds a
LaCroix?
bit? Can you also when you see
Can I
Andy,
get one
just
too?
smack Andy on the tush a little, just enough so he knows you're there.
A little hello.
So
love
the week breakdown.
Yeah.
Or the 4 days, whatever it was. Friday we get there. Did we do anything Friday, or we just go kind of eat, smoke cigars?
You came in late on Thursday, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, Thursday. Yeah, that's what I meant. Thursday. Thursday we came in late.
Yeah.
The only thing Greg wanted to do, he was like, "Hey, can we get some cigars and live like Hove would?"
Yeah.
And I was like, 100%,
Live like Hove
100%.
would.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Hove.
Yeah, of course. Jay-Z, the kids call him.
Yes.
Kanye West, the adults call him.
Nope. Different people.
I know, but
I know.
adults
but
don't know.
I wanted to commit to that. So it doesn't
Okay,
matter. Friday was the day we were supposed to go see. That was the 2K event.
Sure. So you went and saw
And
the game.
We did a
you-
couple things beforehand where we went to kind of explore New York.
Okay.
Because we had so much time. We got the train, like a train pass,
Sure.
7-day pass.
Oh, you went
and-
down on the subway?
Yeah, the whole
I've
time.
never
was the
done that.
subway. I
You've
really
never
enjoyed
been in
it.
New York subway?
No.
Imagine what hell feels like.
No, it's not that bad.
Are you kidding me?
No,
First
it
off,
was-
the trains are fine. Trains
Yeah.
are great. The subway stations, when you go down below and it's just you're in an oven.
Yeah, it was
a
like 90
stinky oven,
degrees.
and there's just rats
The
everywhere.
smell wasn't that bad. I didn't see one
You
rat.
didn't see a rat.
I saw a mouse when we were smoking the cigar, and several cockroaches. That is a dirty, dirty city.
Yeah, a lot of humans.
Really,
a lot of
really
humans
dirty
shoved
city.
in there.
Anyway, so Friday we go back to our hotel around 5:30, and we go to this event, and like the whole thing was like it was really cool, but it slowed things down because we were in line for like an hour trying to get in because they have to check all the bags, and everyone's there with gear.
Yeah.
Then we go in and it's everyone's setting down their camera gear. We find a decent spot and have to wait for so long. They do the like little presentation, which is a lot shorter than I expected it to be for like the little breakdown that they had.
Sure.
And then we just kind of wait for these awesome WWE superstars to come down and talk to us during the red carpet. And
Yeah.
it was my first experience ever with the red carpet.
Thank
and
you.
I know it was Cool Greg's experience as well. And I think he did a really good job.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
He was very aggressive about getting.
He had to be. He was telling me,
Yeah.
cool, Greg, lean in your microphone. You were telling me today what? You had to fight for spots on this red carpet line? It wasn't nice?
I mean, it was just really cutthroat, right? You didn't just show up and was guaranteed an interview. I could have been standing there the whole night exactly where I was and saw. If I wasn't making eye contact with the people in charge of the superstars, nobody was going to give me the time of day.
Interesting.
So,
Yep.
and once you already had somebody like, oh, you're next, you actually had to stand by them and because they were going
ready.
to walk without
People were
you.
gonna
if
swoop.
you weren't
People were
Have you
gonna
there.
done press
Yeah.
lines before? Because I feel like you were always on the live shows.
I
at
was.
Comic-Con,
No,
so
I
don't know
did.
if you
I did one once, I think, like literally one once with like Kevin Conroy, Mark
Yeah.
Hamill, and a couple people.
It's exactly what you think it is at home when you think of red carpets that you've seen on TV, where there's just a carpet and celebrities walk by and there's a
Right.
whole bunch of people lined up with the
Yep.
holding out the mic, and then like you're trying to get a shot, and everyone has a bunch of mics in the way.
It's so crazy. I hadn't thought about the shot beforehand, but like where it's just a close up of their face and like a part of the interviewer's head, it's because that's all the space you have. You can't do more than that.
Sometimes, I mean, I've been in press lines where they do, it's a little bit more organized than that, and I've been in press lines that are way less organized. So the worsts are when they have like a big star and they're like, okay, everyone stick your mic in and everyone gets one question, but y'all have to just kind of shoot, and you're shooting around people. Most of the time at Comic-Con, though, they're pretty good about it. The PR person will be like, hey, I'm bringing you so-and-so next. and then they come. This sounds like it was a little less organized than that. It sounds like they were just a
Shotgun
more,
approach.
Well,
shotgun approach.
originally they were like, oh, everyone's gonna come from the left. They're gonna end at the right, and we'll have them flow through. And then like the first guy who was the first guy?
Jake the Snake.
Strowman.
Braun Strowman. He took he was doing an amazing job hitting every single person.
Hungry.
A lot of
He's
respect.
hungry for it. I like that.
Yeah. But he was going so slow that they were like, we gotta open up the other side. And that's when all fucking hell broke loose. And everyone was just flowing out. And certain people were like, I'm gonna just do 3 and kind of move on. I'm gonna do 2 more and move on. So it was like you had to be so aggressive.
Do you think that one of the reasons why people were passing you guys by was because you had a bejeweled mic flag?
I think that
It wasn't bejeweled. What do they call puff paint? It was puff paint mic flag.
I didn't see the puff paint mic flag.
no one. Cool, Greg. Do you want to go grab the mic?
Get the mic
It's in the
flag
storage, like right here.
so we can show the
Middle
audience
left.
what you guys are fucking with.
So
Keep
the
in
thing
mind,
is-
if you want to see all these behind-the-scene vlogs, you guys did a pilot program of vlogs.
I didn't even talk about that, yeah.
Patreon.com/kindafunny. You can go see them all at $1 level.
What do they call it? Brothers Abroad?
Brothers Abroad,
But you're not brothers.
and we're not going abroad.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
still
it's our
same
show.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So I got my hotel night the first night at 3 a.m. and I was like, all right, let's cut this video now.
Oh,
And
wow.
that took
Yeah,
several
no.
hours. We had to show our
super
branding
professional.
somehow.
That's super professional.
Now, did you buy this at B&H, the
Yeah,
flag?
it was a $20 little plastic thing, and then
Wow.
we went to
Cool, Greg.
Staples.
Give me my one shot here so I can hold it up a little bit better. If you're at home, it is just puff paint letters there for this. I appreciate the ingenuity, Kevin.
Yeah, no,
you did what you had to do to get it done.
We found a solution. Was it the best one? I think that at the time. No, I think at the
We
time
should probably,
it was.
yeah, we should order one.
I will
Yeah,
say
we
this.
will order one.
I will say this. A while back, everyone in the industry, the professional electronic news gathering online media industry, switched over from these cool mic flags to these dippy looking fucking
Foam
pop filters,
toppers.
foam top things that look like limp dicks just sitting on top of the microphones, and I am vehemently against that.
So what Nick's
They look
talking
like
about
socks.
is imagine this, but instead of
a
having this
microphone.
part, it's just like a big fat condom
Yeah.
that goes on top of this
Big
with the
fluffy
branding on
condom,
it.
yeah.
It's like IGN
I was
has
gonna
the
say,
most
you just-
hideous one in the world.
IGN, yeah, why?
Which
They're
is this
terrible.
giant red thing, and then it just says IGN on it, and it's just like, oh,
I like the
no,
flag
guys.
personally, yeah.
This is
I like the
horrible.
flag, too.
The
Yeah.
flag's great. This flag, you guys.
We had to do something.
No, you didn't.
you didn't. You really didn't. But you did.
I thought
and
it would
that's
be.
the
I thought
important
it was
thing.
funny, and
I like it.
I think
It's
it was a great
fucking
part in the vlog.
It is hilarious.
Not one superstar noticed it. No one was like, "This looks fucking stupid."
Well, no, why would they're not
do
going to
that.
be dicks?
No, I feel like they were very candid. Like,
Oh, yeah?
yeah. It had someone like been like, even seeing their expression, no one noticed it. They were so on the move.
Right.
The only people that will like notice it are the viewers that are watching it, and I think they'll get a kick out of.
No, I agree. I agree.
My thing is, it's not shitty enough to be funny.
I wanted to put little blue stars on it and pink stars. We were gonna be.
I feel like that
opposites.
could have helped.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just.
I think that
half
also what we're dealing with here is that you guys did 2 sides of the 4 sides.
Well, it's
which-
because you only show. You know what I mean? And then it's.
right, but
So you
why
only
then?
show-
But then why is one of the other side
Nick,
done?
I spent $2.30 on these stickers, and I wasn't gonna buy another batch of stickers that I threw out.
Yeah.
So many letters. Trying to do the math.
There's
20,
a K in
24 and 23 letters I threw out.
That's a lot of letters.
Yeah. Not only
There's
that,
a
there
lot
was a
of
whole
letters.
other sleeve that had 26 letters that
Oh.
were, I believe, fuchsia.
That's terrible.
So back to the press line.
Yeah.
My brother got to talk to Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
saw
man.
that, I saw that,
He got
yeah.
to talk to a lot of really cool people. I mean, he got to talk to Bailey. The most impressive one, Greg. What was
Kurt Angle.
what's his name?
Kurt
The modern
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal, dude.
Current champion.
Current
What
champion.
was
Yeah.
Kurt Angle's moniker? The national kid, or the Pride of Long Island? No, what do they call Kurt Angle?
He was an
Olympian?
Olympic.
I
He
don't
was
know.
he was an Olympic gold medalist.
He didn't have a
He had
thing.
his
in
3
name.
eyes.
They didn't call him the
Suck.
Scorpion or the fucking.
Greg,
Man
did
Heart.
Kurt Angle have a nickname?
He didn't know. He didn't need a card. He was the Olympic. He was the gold medalist. That was the whole thing. It was a big deal.
I'm
Gold
sorry.
medalist sounds
I didn't
right.
realize that. That's cool.
Could be wrong. but-
Anyways, talking to these people out.
Google says American hero King Kurt wrestling machine.
Oh, he was king. Remember when he was King Kurt for a while?
after the King of the Ring, where he was
Oh,
King.
God.
Of Not what you're looking for
Those are
there?
not what I'm looking for. No.
Dun, 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 dun,
No,
dun.
I'm actually thinking about Randy the Natural Couture.
All
Taking
right.
the whole other thing.
Yeah,
Never mind.
That's definitely different.
So
yeah,
if
so
you
Kurt
want-
Angle, that's cool. But then you also got to see Xavier Woods, and he was really excited.
I heard
to see you.
he was a dick to you. I heard he stonewalled you. I heard he acted like he didn't host Kind of Funny Live 3. Heard he was a
more or
piece
After the
of
party, he
shit.
invited us to go to Barcade.
Nice. Did you go?
Brooklyn. Yeah, but our fucking cab driver, Uber wouldn't load. Cab driver just gets lost. Totally goes the wrong fucking way. We get there and he's like, "We're leaving in like 5 minutes," and I was like, "It's cool." And then
He was nice to Cool Greg in the line, by the
Yeah,
way.
He was very nice.
really nice, really nice.
Like, I
Made us
heard
feel
that he. What
amazing.
happened with him?
He's like with me. He saw me from the distance, and I was like he was in the middle of a conversation, and I saw him like kind of like oh, and then like as soon as the conversation ended, he like leaned over and like
Is this in
waved.
the line?
Yeah,
Okay.
as they're moving along, and then he comes over and he does an awesome interview, and it was cool to finally meet the other two guys. I can't remember their names.
Kofi Kingston
yeah,
and
Oh, and Biggie.
and Biggie, yeah.
What? So we have the vlogs up on Patreon,
Yeah.
but that's in like so if you haven't been following social media or like any of the Reddit or forums or anything like that, the idea was we put them up there. As we've heard you after Nick did the studio tour on kindafunny.com, so many people were like, "You guys need to do vlogs." We want to do that. We don't know how to do that, so we didn't want to put up stuff that Kevin just went and did this. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna do it,"
Yeah.
and so it was like awesome. But there's no style guide, there's no nothing. What do
Right,
we
right,
want?
right.
How do we not want him to look? You're using your Snapchat goggles, so the quality is like what it is. And so it was
But
that
I
thing.
thought the perspective was so cool.
I fucking loved
Yeah,
it. That's
yeah,
like when
yeah.
you sent in the first one, I was like, we need to get this up. And I had a long
Yeah.
conversation with Tim about where to put it. So they're up only on Patreon because we need to figure that format out before we put it out. And we also know that if we release something once, everyone puts it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If we even do the vlogs. But so what is the content that's eventually going live for us? And I don't ask this as like a talk show hosty, like pimp the site. Like, I don't know. Are we putting up the interviews and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. I think Cool Greg has been working on them today. I think what I want to do is put up all the interviews as one video and be like, hey, this is who we interviewed in New York.
Sure.
And then on social media, break out the individual ones
Nice,
and
cool.
just give them more exposure.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me then about Saturday.
Saturday was the fan meetup and NXT. Both were incredible. They
Yeah.
were awesome. I had plans where I was like, I'm going to wake up Saturday early and go to Statue of Liberty. And on Sunday, I'm going to wake up early and go to Coney Island.
I forgot about that. Yeah, all you
Yeah.
talked about is like, I want to touch it. I want to
Yeah,
touch it.
yeah.
That was in your video, actually.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
touch
yeah.
the Statue of Liberty.
Didn't work out because we stayed up. I stayed up nearly till 7 o'clock on Friday.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Well, because there's a lot of issues when like trying to get footage off of these guys.
Yeah.
And then trying to edit it. It's a big hassle. My phone didn't have enough space for it. What the hell? It doesn't matter.
I haven't held a stick mic in a while. This is
It
hilarious.
feels right.
It's been wrong.
It records really well. I'm really happy with it.
It's a great mic.
Yeah.
The old MD46. Heavier
So-
than I remember. You know what I remember? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm recording you right now.
Are you recording me right now?
I think so.
Did you press the button?
If it's a
What's
solid
up,
white light, I'm
everybody?
recording,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. recording, yeah.
Nitro Rifle coming at you live from San Francisco.
Anywho, I
California's
overslept. I ended up waking up
dominate.
at like noon, and I've been doing this P90 stuff, so
Sure.
I had to knock that out. And then at basically 1, I was like, all right, cool, Greg, what do we do now? And he's like, well, the meet and greet's at 2, so we need to get going. And I was like, all right. We get there like exactly 2 o'clock, hang out for nearly 4 hours.
Yeah.
And
Good
then-
turnout.
A great turnout. Great turn. I can't remember how many kids. I think there was like something
I saw
like
the photos. Looked really good.
15 or
Yeah,
18
yeah.
kids or something, but it was like awesome. And we had so much time that we could really sit and talk with everyone.
That's
and
great.
I fucking loved it. I loved it.
There's a picture of you sitting and you're like mid speech, and there's just a group of people around you looking. And Gia looked at it and she goes, how could anyone be that into what Kevin is saying? And I was like, I don't know.
Okay,
I never
well.
will.
I'm
Apparently
into what
Gia-
I'm
Fuck you,
into.
Gia. How's
Whoa!
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
It's
We'll
real.
see next
started it.
week what Gia thinks of this.
And then, yeah, so we all walked to NXT.
Were
the
they all going
Barclays
too?
Center. No. Only one of them was going.
Oh, Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle. Our
Yeah.
boy Kyle.
What up, Kyle?
Yeah. Who
sign
wore the
at
hat, had the
SummerSlam.
sign.
Yeah.
Good shit,
Awesome.
man. You're
Yeah.
awesome, Kyle. He also, him
Kyle's
and
dude.
Kelsey,
That's cool shoes.
sort like put everything together.
Nice.
Yeah. And it worked out perfectly because it was just one 6-block walk to the stadium, the place we were all drinking at.
Nice.
And so, yeah, we walked there, went to the NXT show. Our seats were phenomenal. And the show was way better than what I expected. of
NXT
it.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Because they give a fuck.
They're really
It's
trying.
where
They're
it's-
hustling.
They
yeah, it's
are
all the like
putting their bodies
not
on the
the
line.
main
Yeah.
class yet.
Yeah.
So like they are really trying hard. Their finishers are like more crazy
Yep.
and their entrances are
Yeah.
unnecessarily epic. But yeah, Bobby Roode's entrance, my least favorite. one I've ever
yeah, it
seen.
was.
What did Bobby Roode do?
So he comes out and like he has this song that everyone
he
like,
throws all
sings
these
along.
LaCroix down.
But like he's done things where he descends from ceilings and shit. It's very similar to my Kind of Funny Live entrance.
Sure.
And this one he just kind of stood there.
Just
and
came out, yeah.
twirled around
Did
a
a
little
twirl,
bit.
and I was like, all right. Who was the violinist guy? Shinsuke, yeah, that's it. In SummerSlam, which was Sunday, his entrance is usually also like, well, the videos I've seen, it can be really crazy where he has something like 10 or 12 violinists around him playing, and it's crazy. This he just had one and kind of danced around, and I was like, all right, well, kind of half-assed it. But,
You can't get them all there.
I know.
Sometimes you get a choir. Sometimes you get Gia's little sister.
Yep, yeah,
Comes
yeah.
out.
So yeah,
you gotta try.
NXT was the first that Saturday. Watched it, went back to the hotel, edited the video, went to sleep. Once again, overslept. Woke up the next day super late, and was like, all right, can't go to Statue of Liberty. We took a cab there to find out like how long it would take, and they're like, well, it's gonna be 3 hours unless you pay for the extra, and it's like, I just want to go up and touch it.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna be worth it.
Just tell people you did.
No, we'll go back to New York. It was so much fun. God, the weather was awful.
Looked like it was awful.
The weather was awful.
Was it hot?
It was
Like humid?
hot as shit and extremely humid the entire time.
You guys caught that weather.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like when we got there, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna rain really hard." And then the first day we slept through the rain, and that was it. That was all the rain that there was. But the humidity stayed around. Yeah.
That's New York for you.
Then
I
you went to
love New York
SummerSlam
so much.
Yeah. And then we went to SummerSlam, and that was like what an experience it was.
because this is like your guys' first like real video game event without any of us.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you're going somewhere on a trip to do this. And I remember the first time I went to, my first full month at IGN, I went to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it was in Detroit. And like going and doing this and being in a skybox and like after all the wrestling events I've been to where they're taking care of everything, it was like, this is fucking insanely awesome. Was it that way for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was so interesting. Like I feel like I went with the perfect guy. Like me and Cool Greg. He's just down to explore, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I didn't have any like points that I wanted to hit, but there was just like, we've got this train pass. Let's use it. Let's go eat at whatever random place like sounds okay. And well, food wasn't really the objective. It was really because like I'm still trying to eat healthy.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, let's go to the Empire State Building and check that out.
Did you go up it?
No, we went to the base and we looked up. He pulled
Did
out
you
his
take a
marker,
picture
made a
like
joke.
with your crotch in it, make it look like a giant penis?
No,
I do that
I
sometimes.
did not. Do you?
I don't know.
Never seen those
It's
photos.
possible.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
never
know.
seen. I don't think
it's
that's
possible.
Nick's
possible.
laying down on this disgusting sidewalk of New York trying to angle his dick.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about New York, not the penis pictures, but the fact that you can just pick a direction and walk in it and you just discover stuff.
There's so much going on.
And
yeah.
also, unlike this godforsaken city, New York is relatively flat. So you are not having to walk up hills. You can walk for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah,
and
but
you're fine.
I will go uphill all day if I can avoid the humidity.
Oh, no, it's
Because
pretty
I
humid
would
out.
rather
Yeah, it's been
be
a little humid
sweating.
here lately.
Yeah,
but I mean,
well,
it's been
not New York
kinda
humid.
humid
Yeah,
here,
no,
not
it was
humid.
disgusting there. Disgusting. And then Sunday, we also spent several hours trying to find JC's like original projects home. We couldn't find it.
But you found Marcy Avenue.
We found the area. We
Right.
found the projects. We were
Wait,
there
so you
for
guys walked into the projects?
Yeah.
We found the buildings, like
Yeah.
the Marcy Project buildings, and we walked all through them and everything. We just couldn't find his exact address that
Yeah.
Google was telling us it is. But
So
don't
we were
even know
just
if that was
walking
it.
around trying to read the numbers of the like buildings, being like, "Where is it? Where is it?"
I just love
I don't think that didn't sound like a smart idea.
Nah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was
So I
fine.
asked one OG, I was like, hey man, by any chance, you know where Jay-Z used to live? And he looked up at me, put his phone down, didn't make eye contact, and just said, Jay-Z don't live here no more. me and Kevin said thank you and walked away.
You guys have some fucking balls, man.
I was
You
fine.
don't live here no more.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, that's good enough for me, sir. Thank you for your time. I will leave
Kevin,
your
I'll see you on the
area."
plane. Just kidding.
Oh my god. No,
Well, give me
thank
some
you.
cool. Give me some cool Greg-isms and stuff. What are your favorite memories of
what
Cool
did-
Greg? From
What's the
this experience?
craziest thing Cool Greg did the entire time?
Him smoking the cigar in the
The
vlog.
cigar
I was like,
so much fun. I like that. That was. I did not expect for him to be like, "Hey, let's get cigars and live like Hove does." And I was like, "Yeah, everything about this sounds great." And then we did it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it sounds
we just
awesome.
sat there till like 3 a.m. We had beers, and we were just drinking and smoking for about an hour,
Nice.
just sitting there watching people walk around is fun. But I'll tell you my least favorite thing about Greg on this trip.
Wow, whoa.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
It was being with him during SummerSlam because he was so extremely upset, like tense the entire time that it did not only did it ruin like everything going up to it, but everything afterwards, because he just, once she won.
Sasha Banks won.
Yeah, Sasha Banks won the title, he was still like, this isn't going away. And it was just like, man, that sucks. It's so.
Now, to be clear, Cool Greg, you did not meet Sasha Banks on this trip, correct?
Didn't happen this trip.
Okay.
I was like a good like 7 feet away from her, and I might be on her story. I didn't get to tell.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Because that's something else that somehow got left off. You guys watched Snoop Dogg DJ. And
There were so
Sasha
many little random things like that where it's like, yeah, Snoop Dogg came out with Sasha Banks, and
of course he
Sasha Banks was treated like
course he did.
the highest class of celebrity.
She was
there.
the Rock for the day.
Yeah, she really was. Like where she came out and everyone was like, I mean, part of it was Snoop Dogg, but it didn't feel that way. It felt like people were excited to see Sasha.
Yeah.
And then Snoop was just with her.
I mean, to be fair, people would probably look at Snoop and be like, all right, it's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, but
He's
like
been around for 40 years.
it
It's
was
fine.
it was actually really cool, like because he was DJing, not like
Rapping.
yeah.
Did he play all of his own shit?
Yeah, 100%. And it felt like he was rapping.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because every once in a while, he'd just hold the mic here, and it would seem like, oh, this is it. It's happening. Yeah.
Drop it like it. Drop
else?
it like. I would have just played that song.
Cool, Greg. Do you have
Just
any
that
other
song.
crazy thing? I mean,
Cool Greg, what are your favorite stories from New York? Yeah.
Well, at that, so when we were interviewing people on the red carpet, there's this guy next to me, and it ended up being Smoke DZA,
Who's that?
a rapper.
Okay.
And I was like,
Some
oh
famous
shit. And he does
rapper.
he started like a lot of wrestling rap. Like he had like 4 albums with it before Mega Ran, before Wale and all them, you know? So like that was pretty sick. Should have talked to him, but I was a little in my nerves, you know?
Sure.
Man, the graffiti was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah,
man.
your Instagram was all cool
San
graffiti.
Francisco. We
It
run
was-
that city,
yeah,
bro.
it was upsetting how many
Straight the fuck
times he
up.
was like, oh shit, that's San Francisco.
Like that's us.
And I was like,
everywhere.
cool,
man.
doesn't that look awesome? He's like, yeah, that's my buddy actually. And it's like, get the fuck out, all right?
Yeah, it was.
Why
really
are
to
there
the
New
point
York
where
people?
It seemed like I was lying.
Yeah.
because
I
even for
love
me,
it.
I was like, I'm disappointed. Nobody I saw in Getting Up or anything like that. Like none of them are up anymore. When Tim took me last time, I saw them a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't see none of my guys. I saw one hype besides that. But yeah, I was really impressed by that. That was really cool. But yeah, the Marcy moment, you know, I don't want to downplay that because that was actually something that literally I've wanted to do my whole life.
Yeah.
And, maybe not my whole life, but for at least 10, 15 years now. And that was awesome. And I'm never going to forget that. And that was
That's cool.
crazy to be there. And yeah, dude, seeing Sasha win was a lot more important to me than meeting her and talking to her. I ain't got nothing to tell her other than like what I've already tell her on Twitter all the time. Like, y'all see it?
He is vocal.
Yeah.
He is vocal.
So, yeah.
I love that you got to show Bailey the picture of you.
Yeah, which was awesome. Yeah,
Wait, what's the
Bailey
picture
is
of you?
Probably one of my, I don't want to say favorite, but it was a really great interview because I felt like I actually made a connection with her. Like it was really good conversation, and we happened to. I was on the internet a couple of weeks ago, and I saw a picture of Bailey, and I clicked it, and it was when she had met John Cena.
Oh.
And I was looking at it like, hey, I remember that outfit. So I started looking through my pictures. I was like, I met John Cena that same day in that same store.
Oh, wow.
So then I sent her my picture of my autograph on Instagram. She never responded, but I got to show in real life, like, hey, right here. Actually, a best friend helped me
Yeah.
out with that too, right
boy
there. It's like,
Ant.
here, you can use my phone. Because I was like, my phone's dead. Good looks, bro. So yeah, he handed me the phone with the picture there ready. So I was like, dude, thank you. So that was really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you eat any pizza?
Yeah, we ate the pizza at 2 different places because the first spot we went to, a couple kids were like, "That's not real New York pizza."
Oh, what a
I was like,
surprise.
"All right, yeah,
There we
whatever,
go.
all right."
Yeah.
Jesus
And then we
Christ.
like right next to our hotel was a place that made like fast shitty pizza.
Sbarro's.
It was really good. No,
This place called Pizza Hut.
No,
you heard of this place? I'm
the
not
very
sure.
famous.
no,
I've
they
never
were
heard of it.
Italian as fuck. Like we walked in and like the owner was off sitting with a family, just yelling in Italian. They were having a great conversation. I don't know what they were saying,
That's real
but
Italian.
they were
right
happy.
there.
Yeah.
Real Italian sounds angry
Somebody
no matter
stirring
what.
sauce?
Yeah.
It's
And
like, hey,
then
good
the-
job in school today. Great
like,
to see you.
The dude that was like working the counter, super Italian, looked exactly like Hunter Pence, but with an Italian accent.
Jesus, yeah.
Like
that's
he was a
scary.
big blonde guy with a heavy beard, and I was like, man, you look like my friend. Anyways, it just the little moments that we had together at like the pizza place was so funny. I was like, hey, what's the refill policy? He's like, oh. he doesn't like it, but you bring it to me. And I was like, all right.
That's so fucking Italian. Man, I tell you what, Italians always acting like they're doing you a fucking solid.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Normally that doesn't happen, but
For you,
for
my
you,
friend.
my friend, I'll
Yeah,
fucking hang
exactly,
out.
exactly.
Like, would they charge you $5 for that Coke? Fucking Italians.
No, it was cheap as shit.
Did they?
Like, yeah, that whole meal was like $5 for 2 slices of pizza and like a Coke.
And a refillable.
I miss that because I don't hang out with a lot of my extended family anymore, and I certainly don't hang out with anyone that's left in Jersey. But I do miss that just walking. Like I used to walk into my Uncle Danny's deli, and my Uncle Danny's deli would have like 5 things on the shelf and an amazing like you could get cold cuts, but then it'd be like a box of spaghetti, and then it wasn't until later that I realized that he was actually a bookie. It was so fun. It was so fun. Uncle Danny.
Uncle Danny.
Yeah.
And then final food thing. I know you said it wasn't the point. Katz's Deli, not that great, you say?
Not that great.
Oh, that's
How
heartbreaking.
dare you, sir.
It was. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you love
That's
it.
the one Harry met Sally deli, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, I didn't love it,
Well,
but it was
yeah,
like fun. It
that's
was
what-
fun.
I mean, first of all, extremely overpriced. The most expensive meal we got, I think it was like $60 at the end
It's
of it.
very expensive, yeah.
You
a lot
go
of
in there and
carbs
you're
at
like,
the deli.
hey.
Yes, Tim, there are carbs at the deli.
Flip-flop. The flip-flop.
Flip-flop.
The
Or-
thing is this: Katz's Deli it's. You're right. The food's not that great, but the environment's super fun.
The
and
order
it's-
was, you sit there, you go up there and they're
It's like
like,
a
you want
cafeteria
everything in
style.
it? You want everything in it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, let me get everything in it. What comes out? Bread, this much meat, and another piece of bread. What the fuck was everything?
It's everything, man. It's all happening.
Like, what were the options? What was I gonna cut out of there? There was 2 ingredients, bread and meat.
Yeah.
You have
Maybe
pickle
this,
too?
Yeah, the
no
pickle
bread.
was good.
Yeah.
Then served with a cucumber on the side.
Joey
A
loves
bad
cucumbers.
combo.
Okay.
Give me a pickle any day.
If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get the show early. How early? So early you can watch it while recording like so many of you are right now, or just Friday early, where you get it early there before it goes up topic by topic, day by day on youtube.com/kindafunny, before it goes up as one big MP3 and one big video the following Friday. Kevin,
Yes.
thank you for coming over and telling us
thank
your
you for
stories,
having
being
me.
on this show today.
I had a lot of fun.
Adi Shankar feel better. He's very sick at home right now.
Oh yeah, we didn't explain that.
Oh, wait.
These are going up out of order. If you were like holding your breath for Adi Shankar, you know by now. Tim,
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Nick, you're flip flopper. Until next time,
Strong words coming from you, sir.
it's a better pleasure to serve you.
What does that mean?
I don't know.